and uh,
Good morning, good afternoon, and wherever it is you are. I am here with Tuck tonight, and
whoop
I,
whoop.
yep, there he is. I got a story I want to do. Well, it's not really a story. I mean, it's just it's a common conversation I had with somebody, and kind of sparked tonight's topic. Um, he lives in Florida. Tuck knows a thing or two about Florida, uh, and well, he's been going through some stuff down there, and we were talking last night, and he said this make the perfect Florida meme and a Florida man meme, and I agreed. I mean, and then his girlfriend, um, which I believe is the girl that all of this is over, reached out to me and told me that he'd been picked up by the police and asked me if I could help somehow to send support down there. Well, I told him I was going to do a video on him, and we could figure out what's going on from there, but I don't know. We're working with this right here anyway. But at least you know about it. You know about what's going on. It kind of ties into some of the shit we've been talking about. On the I can't talk about on the incarceration sense. Um, Tuck. It sounds like Tuck has been hammering it into the sidewalk on his channel. He's been talking about the forced incarceration quite a bit.
Well,
Um,
I haven't been just talking about that. That's just what I'm talking about this week, and I started talking about last week.
yeah, but it burns in. We've been getting in that, and like I was telling you, there's another story that I was doing. I'm talking with the kids and the people that are growing up and stuff like that. That we're in that place for children, a place that shouldn't exist. That found out that does exist, and they have this model, and they have been doing these things, and I believe everything we could have thought about this, in some general sense, is true. They are going after the most vulnerable. They are, well, I don't know. You know, there's always been the thought that they could take and I don't know, make you better people for society. And it's always been the forethought. This is in the back of the minds of the people who get money from you know governments and states and cities and whatnot to run prisons and private prisons. They always have. There's always somebody there with some thread of hope that they can rehabilitate you, and that's just not the case in most instances. But they sure can lock you up and make you do stuff. Or they can drug you out of your mind. Or they can try to burn off your mind so bad that you just become whatever they want you to be. And,
Okay.
and see, that's what I think they were trying to do to these kids. And I think they're going to try to do this with other.
Here's my question about these kids. Was it court ordered?
Well, it was too tough. Well, I guess in a way, yes, it was. But no. But this is what get this is what one of the things that pissed me off. And if you guys are wondering, yes, I am drinking tonight. Um, I have a problem I'm trying to take care of. I'm sick, so I need something for pain, and this will do it. Plus, I'm sure it'll make tonight's stream a little fun. Um, but the children, in most senses of the case, you have foster care that went in there, like foster kids. So technically, they were pulled out of homes and put in there by the court. So that would technically be court ordered. But then you had the other side, which you had individuals that had disabled, everything from being able to have their diapers changed to being mean or wouldn't eat or whatever. So you have children like that in there, ranging from different ages, um, boys and girls. And one, it doesn't make a good environment. Let's just throw that out there. My old lady,
Okay, what states are these happening in?
this has happened in all the states. You just don't know about
Okay,
them. You just don't know about them. I didn't know about them. I have been
so this is happening in every state. This isn't just a single case.
yeah, I have been a strong advocate against this for many years. And see, the thing is, if anything you learn from tonight's stream is if the government or the city or a state says they're not going to do it, and you look and you look and you look and you find one instance of it, just one, that is proof and fact that they're doing it. Now, I have been looking for a place like this for some time. I wanted to know how they doing the structure, what they were doing, if they were still doing this stuff. See, they used to do this stuff back when my old lady was a kid. She was put in a foster home. She was sent to a place called GHT or GHO or something. It was in Georgia, and it was one of the old insane asylums. And she got out, of course, and everything like that. But still, she was sent to one of these places, and they shut these places down across the United States, and they were supposed to take the care that they were giving the children and start to do this in home type settings, not these form factor places. And the places they decided to pick to do this is one of the things that disturbs me more. During COVID, we had a lot of people die. A lot of those people were elderly people. A lot of nursing homes shut down. That left the basic nursing home buildings accessible, owned by the governments or owned by corporations that work with governments. So now you have these empty buildings. They're already set up in a medical way. They look like wards on the inside. If you ever go into a nursing home, you know what one looks like. There's a familiar look about it. You walk in the front doors, it kind of looks homely. There's a big desk there, and then you walk back, and you got places on both sides of the thing. It just looks like a fucking, you know, place where they house you. And in the sense of kids, they put multiple people in the rooms. They overcrowd them. They treat them like our prisons. But anyway, they started using these. They started using these across the United States. They started
All
using
the
these,
old ones.
all the old ones.
Oh well, there's some of them that will never reopen. Like I know there's one in Salem that's haunted.
They
They'll probably
won't
never.
reopen as nursing homes. They won't. If you're talking about nursing homes, they won't reopen as nursing homes.
They're
Okay,
gonna open up as
they're going to
institutions.
open up as institutions. This is the institution block. This is block one of the institution.
Yeah, I'm aware of a little bit of the history just because it's
No, no, no,
you
no.
know
What
just
I'm trying to say is, out of all the stuff we were talking about, of the stuff we were talking about the disabled, the stuff we were talking about the homeless, the stuff we were talking about the camps. Well, there's cities and states and stuff that are not going to build these camps out the way these other states are doing because they don't have a method or metric to house them. So they're going to use whatever they have. And this is something they have. So they're going to use this. These are going to be the institutions that they house these people. The homeless people are going to be put in places like this. They're going to be put in converted factories and things like that. They're going to do the same way with kids and disabled people. This
but what do you do with the homeless that have none of those issues? Like me, I don't. I'm. There's no reason or rhyme or reason they could ever commit me, and they'd have a hard time failing me on a competency
they
test.
can commit you for anything.
Um. Yes, only because New York. Well, no, New York has aligned itself with I think 43 other states, where they now have added as part of your care that that if you cannot buy your sneakers, if you cannot pay your rent. And it has nothing to do with about competency anymore, because the thing is, the Republican narrative is that all homeless have mental health and drug addiction issues. So all we need to, so therefore, if there's ever any an issue, and so right now, I've been noticing that the police lately have been asking me, "Are you doing okay? How you feeling? Everything okay?" And at first, it was weird until I started really looking into this forced institutionalization. Um, and so I wanted to share with you a couple of notes that I have on this, because I wanted to make sure to cover it. So, at least what's affecting the homeless comes from Executive Order 14321. Basically, it says that the homeless need to, in order to clean up our streets. But a lot of this comes from what we saw with the whatchamacallit, like the subway people that were going fucking nuts and stuff like that. So you have people that are being committed because of criminal charges, but you also have civil. Okay, so in 1640, you had I think it's the John Kaser case, where it was, this is where the clause in the 13th Amendment comes from, where it says, neither involuntary servitude nor slavery, with the exception of punishment for a crime, shall exist within the United States. In 1655 is when they were actually able to take a civil infraction and create lifetime indentured servitude. So following that same way in which they did it, because they keep doing the same thing over and over. The loophole that was left in from the last time that we pushed back, because about every 100 years or so we go through something like this, was the criminalization loophole, which post Civil War became black laws. And then when you could no longer discriminate on someone about a race, it became the vagrancy laws. So it's the same laws being repurposed. And what a lot of they did was they would indebt you so that they could keep leasing you out to plantations and to other things. And that's kind of what we're seeing um, in Louisiana. And so it comes from the civil commitment. So the new expansion is that you don't have to have a crime, you don't have to commit a dangerous act, just can't meet basic needs or gravely disabled, which describes a bad month, not a criminal. So this reaches pretty much to anyone. If a cop asks you how you're doing and you say the wrong thing, you can now get committed. This isn't just the homeless. The homeless are the focus right now, but the homeless are not necessary, are not the end game. They are how they sharpen the tools so that they can use it on civilized society. Because after a while, this is how you get rid of your poor and then your dissidents. So there's a couple of things that what people don't realize. So Olmsted, which is a doctrine that has been in since 1990. The Department of Justice just gave an opinion that said that the federal government is no longer going to enforce the Olmsted, and that you no longer have the right there, because it now aligns with Executive Order 14321. Okay, with the forced institutionalization. So even though with Olmsted still intact, the DOJ is just stopping the investigation. Yeah, Health and Human Services is rewriting the 504 rule, and states now no longer are going to be sued by the federal government for not doing this. There are laws on the books. I'm looking for, it's like Tanya something or other. Latoya Reeves Freedom Act is for, she was institutionalized as a child in Tennessee who escaped to Denver with the state, and when she couldn't find services, she needed to live independently. She spent decades as an ADAPT activist. The bill was sponsored by Senator Bennett, Democrat of Colorado, Cohen, Democrat of Tennessee, with some Republican co-sponsors. It codifies and strengthens the Olmstead integration mandate and bars governments and insurers from denying home and community-based services. So the thing is that there were 17 states that were actually suing the federal government to because they didn't want to have like an unfunded liability, a state mandate handed down to them by the federal government. They thought that it violated their 10th Amendment right. So when between advocacy and the Department of Justice memorandum that they put out, This costs 14 of the 17 states to drop off. So now it's only Alaska, Florida, and Texas that are fighting the federal government on this. Everyone else jumped off right around this time. So the thing is the government just said, okay, we're going to look the other way and not enforce it because the Republican states don't want to do this. So this was a Republican win.
Uh, I don't know. I'm not so much talking about like Democrats or Republicans because they're both bad.
Well, they're both bad.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's where a lot of people get hung up at. I more thought about it. I'm like, okay, people get hung up on, you know, if you're a Trump supporter or Democrat supporter, or whoever the fuck's running,
Yeah.
and that gets in the way of some serious conversation.
Well, yeah, it becomes a religious dogma at that point in time, and you can't reason.
Yeah,
You can't reason with
you're
stupid.
already putting your thoughts on that, like whatever you thought this one group or that group is. You see, right off the bat, you're already throwing it on there, which is something we shouldn't do. That's one thing we should avoid doing that.
Well, no. Well, I mean, as the facts on the ground, who were the sponsors who actually put the legislation out? That was just a factual a thing of like who participated in this. Just like in the 6-3 decision for the GeoNet case, you know, I wanted to know like which of the justices were for it, which of the justices were against it, because it gave me an insight into their ideology.
See the
How
way
privacy friendly are they?
see the way I imagine it happens is the first of every year, or the president comes down and says we want to work on these things, and you get a room that has the leaders of the Democratic Party in there, and you have the leaders of the Republican Party in there. Oh, speaking of which, we'll talk about that in a second, maybe. And at the first of the year, they'll take and they'll pass a fucking hat around, and it's like, okay, well, you're going to work on this, and you're going to work on this, and you're going to work on this, and you're going to work on this. Because the way some of this stuff get divvied up doesn't make any sense. And stuff gets divvied up. You know things that need to be worked a lot, like, okay, UAPs. UAPs got divvied up to this one guy that's working on them now, and the people that were assigned to it. They had to give them something to do. Everybody in Congress in the House has something to do. It doesn't look
Yeah.
right. It doesn't look right if you're an employee of the government, of the people, and you don't have something to do. So what they do, they divvy up these things and they stick these people in there and they say, well, this is what they're working on.
I'd like my politicians to go to fucking Congress and do absolutely nothing. That's the best thing for fucking freedom ever.
but they don't. That's the
Yeah, I
thing. They
know.
don't. They
So
don't. They
so the
don't
whole
do
notion
anything.
that they need to look busy, it's like, no, I don't want you to be busy. Sit in your office and twiddle your thumbs, and I will be a happy constituent. And I'll put you in every time. Because that means nothing gets done.
So that's kind of what we're working with when it comes to that. And I think they divvy up, and I think some people get stuff they really want. Some people don't. Others, I don't know. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hit or miss. And then of course there's people who feel real adamant about subjects. So, this is what they're going to talk about. And it's fucking hot here. I'm sweating like crazy. Plus drinking don't help.
It's finally cooled down here, but I'm outside.
I am going to turn off this other mixer real quick with it fucking heat radiator. Hold on a second. All right, that one's off. Oh, maybe that helped a little bit. I doubt it. I do. I doubt it.
I don't
Oh.
know. I think when when you started me on this path with the telling me about the basically the DOJ opinion piece, which then kind of like led me down an even deeper path, an even deeper path. Um, did you hear what happened with Mandami and his whole homeless promises that he made?
Oh, we should arrest that dude.
Well, no, he said he campaigned on we're not going to do any homeless camp sweeps. Well, in
We need to arrest
January and
that. We need to
February.
arrest that guy, dude. I'm sorry. Well, you got to arrest
Oh
him.
no, no. Well, here, if you want to arrest him, listen to the story then. Because he just got basically he's getting slammed by New York press right now. Essentially, so in January and February when we had the cold spell, he didn't do any homeless sweeps. I guess over 20 people on the outside died, and I think like another like a few people on the inside died. So they had well over 20 deaths due to it. And so, because he didn't do a sweep, and so he comes out on the news. He says, "Well, at least they weren't in homeless camps. It's like they were just individuals, just like you, motherfucker."
Well, I
And
mean,
now what
they
he's
don't have a
doing
good track record up there. They were supposed to do
now,
so. They were supposed to do something about. There was like a.
I've heard the opposite.
Well, no, the governor or mayor or whatever, the mayor and the governor that was in there last go around. They were supposed to do something for to help the homeless and other people and people need and stuff like that. And it was the same game. Like I remember
Well,
when we had the bad winter thing, they were supposed to bring out fucking, make sure they had places to go, make sure they had places to get warm, make sure they had places to do all this. Like, oh yay, this is a great idea. They're actually looking after them. And no, they're
they're
not. You
barriered
got motherfuckers
shelters.
frozen to fucking park benches, and they're starting to install these fucking the stuff this thing they got in Switzerland now. It's got these spikes that are embedded in the park benches, so you can't use the park benches at fucking night anymore.
Yeah, that is part of what Grants Pass fucking made okay to do.
Oh, so that's just some fucked up shit.
Oh no, that's normal. Dude, Okay, so the
No,
vagrancy
by
law, the laws that they
definition,
used against the blacks were sit stand laws.
by human right and human understanding, how you should treat your fellow man. If your fellow man wants to lay on a fucking park bench and go to sleep, then he needs to be let to do so, or she needs to be let to do so. They shouldn't bother him.
Yes, but it's become almost like the Christian right, which is a complete bastardization of the fucking religion to begin with. There's people that come on my comments, Jesus was homeless, but then they'll go, like, get a job, you lazy bum. It's like, well,
He had a
you
job.
can't be on both.
He had a job.
Yeah,
He was going
you
around.
know,
He was going around spreading his daddy's word. He had a job.
yeah, but the thing is most people think you should go get a fucking brick and mortar job. It's like, yeah, I've got a job too.
Just start preaching. Just start preaching. You go around. You start
Uh,
preaching. I guarantee though.
actually, I
I
think I'm going to
guarantee you. I
incorporate as a
guarantee.
five.
I guarantee you. If tomorrow you make you one of those signs, that goes on your chest and your back. You put the end is near. You make one for Sam. And you get out there and you start ringing a bell saying the
That
end's
says all
fucking
dogs
near,
go to heaven.
and start preaching. No, I'm gonna be serious about it. And start fucking preaching. I guarantee the motherfuckers lock you up.
Oh, there, yes.
I bet $1,000 on it. I bet a
But
thousand dollars on it. They will lock you up.
there's enough prominent Christians in the area that know that I'm not, that they would know it was a fucking
Well, they don't
ruse.
know if you're going to snap. I
Yeah,
mean, that's the
well,
thing. They don't know if you're going to fucking snap, dude. I mean, anyone can snap. They expect you to snap. There is a group of people out there. Okay, well, we got some weird groups of people, and I don't think you have been educated to the point. I mean,
probably not.
it's not something that you need to feel bad about when I say it that way. I say it that way, and I don't want you to think I'm saying something
Oh, I'm
bad.
not. There's a lot of shit I don't know.
But there's some crazy shit out there, and I run into this all the time. Like, for example, when it comes to gay men, there are these things
Mm,
called there are these things called bug chasers.
what's a bug chaser?
See, there you go. You don't know what this is, and this is fucking some freaky fucking shit, man. And this has been going on for a while. There's individuals that will go out, and they will, and this goes for women too. Now they will go and they will search for men who have HIV, and they will sleep with them. And there's actually boards and bulletin boards and things like that. They're called bug chasers. They go and get the HIV virus.
Why?
so they
Well,
can.
there's a cure for it now.
Well, yeah, kinda,
Mm. I don't
kinda.
know. I was in Cincinnati a couple of years ago. I was sitting in like the Red Cross van. They're like, "No, we got a cure for it," and they were
Oh
trying to test
no,
the
it
homeless
ain't it
first.
ain't like that. You still got it. You got it. I mean, you got it. I mean, you don't get rid of it. I mean, ain't no motherfucker get HIV and say, okay, well, I don't have HIV no
But you
more.
know
I took
what?
it cured.
The gay community within the homeless community is very prevalent. I had a neighbor who he was a very predatorial gay, and he would go out and because all the boys knew him, they'd start raising their shirts, and he was always looking for the straight boy that was desperate enough to take it, and usually the straight boy would be like, just roofing me, and I'm gonna slink out in the morning. And so yeah, he'd wake up with a sore butthole, grab his money, and go.
Oh,
But like predator, I mean, I had a guy in Shreveport that wanted to get naked and frolic and run his hands through my fucking hair because he thought smoking a joint would get me high enough to want to do something
well,
stupid
I mean,
like that.
that is a fantasy. I mean, there's a number of TV shows and movies that are like that where they actual.
You you know
You know,
y-
it's part of our culture where where gay men are men who are, well, no, I won't say gay men, but men who are closet gays that will seek out individuals, and they think they can get homeless men to do it, and I guess they can. You know, I mean, it's not something that is unheard of.
yeah, they're just prison gay.
You know, yeah. So, but I mean, well, whatever you want to call it, it's what it is, and they will seek out these individuals. It is embedded in our media, and
Uh-huh.
a lot of that, the people that are doing that are the Jeffrey Dahmer types.
You want to know, in my experience with all the predators I've come across over the years, they all generally tend to be ex-government employees. Like the NSA guy I met in Chattanooga, the CIA guy I met in San Francisco. I mean, some of the worst ones I ever met um, were uh, 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 were part of the government, whether it be the alphabet
I
agencies
hope I don't catch
or
I hope
other
I
words,
don't
like
catch hell for this.
even an Air Force intelligence guy.
I hope I don't catch hell for this. I really do. I hope I do not catch hell for this. But I have been on this earth for almost 50 years. I have known a lot of different people. I have known a lot of homeless people. I have been in the homeless community. I have made good friends. I have made written great fucking stories. You know, ideas from people that are dead now, that are gone, that are I have no idea where. Thank you, honey. And and like I said, I have met regular people, wonderful people. But every person that works for a morgue, you know, that does the embalming, that does the
Oh
fucking.
yeah, 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 necrophilia.
Well, no, we're not talking about necrophilia yet. We're talking about the
They do
guys.
some freaky shit. I've heard some stories.
Now, and this includes the women too.
Oh yeah,
All of these motherfuckers are gay, and
they're gay.
they got freaky fucking fantasies. They got freaky fantasies. They got every one of them, every single one of them. If you ever get with a woman, and there's some women that are going for. Or if you're a gay guy, I mean that's fine too. But I mean,
No, I,
yeah,
I I knew I knew a lady that was she was in my BNI group. I would have never. She was like a 70-year-old lady, fucking married and shit. She'd been working there. She was doing sales and stuff.
but one thing is they got some freaky ass fucking fantasies, man. They do. I mean, I've been sitting in the same room with them. I have sat in rooms with people, and then this wasn't this. You know, like I said, I mean, like one of my interests, like one of the things, like like, hey, this is something I should write about. But yeah, I never figure out how to write about it. But I go to these things. I go to these parties. I meet these people.
You should have it be one of your characters.
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean,
Have them be part
that
of.
I do. I mean, I have. There's some I've used in there and those characters and stuff like that. But this deserves a story. I mean, like I have gone to this place. Like there was a thing that popped up on Craigslist one night. It said party. Bring your own suit. I'm like, well, I got a suit. I'll come and I show up, and well, I have the wrong kind of suit on. They're all dressed as furries, and I walk in, and the guy and the woman that posted the ad, they're a man and woman, they're married, they're husband and wife. His wife is in there on the floor on all fours, dressed as a female dog, and I guess she's in heat, and she's being slammed by two other guys that are dressed in dog costumes, and he's offering me a beer. Like I'm like, okay, yeah, this is something I guess I can, like report on. I'm like,
Hey, whatever floats
I'm
your
like,
boat,
how do
right?
I talk about this? How do
Mm.
I? And it's going on in the background, and I mean, there's more people fucking showing up, dude.
Oh, dude, you think that's freaky?
No,
That's
it
like
gets worse.
tame.
It gets
No,
worse.
no, that's tame. The crazy roommate I had, dude. She wanted me to chase her down the forest and beat the living daylights out of her as I took her.
Oh, we met this girl that liked. She was in this thing where she would post um, comments, or she would post a request online. She would say, "I want a bunch of guys," and she said, "If you apply, you can come, whatever." She says, "I'm going to go disappear in the forest, and I want you to find me." This is a
Oh shit!
fantasy. This is a fantasy. She wants to be hunted down and used.
You know what? It goes back to primal instinct.
There's a
Honestly,
place here in Virginia. Now, see, I live my house, my current house. I'm probably gonna move at some point. I hope. I mean, I like it here. It's nice. There's a lot of land. It's everything. But I mean, you get locked into a place. You need to change sometime. And I do need to change. But here in the Appalachia, we got a lot of weird motherfuckers.
oh yeah.
We got cults. We got people with fantasies and fetishes and all kinds of things. And I mean, that's the way it is everywhere. Sure. A lot of people here is not as open about it as you would normally think they are. But
We're
there,
more
but
prudish.
there is a group of rich men that own this place called. How do they word it to me? Let's see. It's they call it the cabin. Now I went up there, and the cabin is this massive fucking house. It's got, garage doors. It's got hardwood. It looks like a fucking mansion. It's this beautiful place. It looks like a resort. I mean, it's the kind of place that you want to go. If you had the money, this is the place that you would want to go. Or at least you would think you'd want to go. I mean, if you were to be given a place like this, you would be like, Holy Mother, Father, there is a God. Out of the blue, someone gives you a place like this.
Oh no! Actually, no. There's deeper than that because I know a couple of gay guys that told me about
But
this.
these ain't gay guys. Now I was doing a story and I, I got brought in a limo up to this place called the Cabin, and
Yeah,
I
it
was told
applies.
what it was, and what it is a group of rich men, like they're
Uh
business
huh.
owners in the communities, like the various communities around this place. It's close here, and they put out an ad, and they look for a woman, a different one every year, sometimes two, and they have these wild parties up there.
Oh,
And
okay.
there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the level of fantasies and stuff that go into things are, the human mind has an addictive nature. You go, like when people watch porn. That's the reason they say don't watch porn. They don't care if you watch porn. Let's throw that out there. Your mother your whatever. They don't care if you watch porn. They don't want you to watch porn. The reason they don't want you to watch porn is because it triggers serotonin in your brain. And that serotonin triggers, and you become addicted, just like you become addicted to alcohol or marijuana, if you're one of those believers, or cocaine or whatever. And it takes more and more and more to get off. That's the reason why that's the reason why you can sit back and you can watch priests and young kids and everything else. When they start going on their journey, they start going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into porn, and finally, they start acting out some of this darker shit. Like
Yep.
like suddenly you see a preacher that's been preaching for fucking 15 years. We've had plenty. I mean, the reason I left preaching is because I can't trust any of you motherfuckers. I'm gonna be honest with you. So there's no reason for me to preach to you and tell you about God or anything of that nature. If you're going to come back to me next Sunday and tell me, look, I did the very thing you told me not to do. So I look at it in the sense that God wants you to do those things, and God wants me to witness and watch these things, and God wants me to report on these things. That's the way I look at it. Then he watch. Then he look. Then he go to these places. Then he be part of these things. And that's what I tell Jason to do. And that's what I will tell anyone else to do. Go be a part of it. Go tell the story of the other people. You are the verifiers. You are the victors of knowledge. When our culture moves past another 50-year mark, all of this stuff, this video, everything that's happened today will be a footnote in the past. It won't exist anymore. Fix that. Anyway, sorry.
I got something to add to that. So, as far as what you're talking about with the gentleman, but I fully agree with you on that. Like, I as the more I report, the more I realize how important it is that I'm actually out there saying something because nobody else is. But when it comes to I met a couple of gay guys in Eugene, and one of them, the older guy, was explaining to me that you have these rich neighborhoods of gay guys, um, even for straight dudes, but they're you go in there and they look for underage boys,
They
and
do. They do.
and
What is up with that? What
listen
is
listen
up
to
with
this. No,
that,
no, no.
though?
Listen to the rest of the story because
I am. I'm
you
sorry.
might
I'm going in on it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
listen to it because it gets weird. It gets more interesting. So the young boys go and do it willingly, but there's a deal. We're gonna keep you till you're about 20 years old. After that, you're too old for us. But we'll set you up for the rest of your life as long as you keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, I know. They have those things. When I was all right. Good Jesus fucking Christ. All right. When I was I had moved out on my own. I went to college. I went everything else. Trust me, going to college at a young age is not a great idea. Anyway, I got out. I was online, and I answered this ad. There was like, "Hey, looking for a live-in boy in Florida." I'm like, "What's this about?" And I read the article. I was young. Keep in mind, I'm stupid young.
You 20s.
No, I was younger. And
Oh,
and I
okay.
and I, and I read it, and I was going through it, and I'm like, this is fucking fun. I'm going to be out on the beach. I'm going to be all of this stuff. They started going in details about it, and lucky for me, I mean, there's something triggered in my head that this was a bad idea, but there was a real chance I could have ended up down there, and I wouldn't have known any better.
Dude, I've seen ads on Craigslist, and it's like that these are like poor guys that are looking for women that are on the verge of homelessness to fucking prey on. I see ads like that on
Actually,
Craigslist all the time.
what got me, it was two guys, two older men. Imagine the older men, the balding, the older men with gray hair, with the fat bellies
Uh-huh.
and stuff in Florida that are half naked all the time. Probably like ex police officers or some shit.
Uh-huh.
And the names were Jim and James. Jim and James. And Jim said, I remember an email. Jim said, "I'm the nice one," and James, and he said, James is the one that will discipline you. And I'm like, what the fuck? What do you want me to do? And
Oh, that's a
I mean,
cuck
and then
relationship.
they started telling me about the other houseboy that was named Rodriguez. Rodriguez. They
Ah,
had literally captured a Mexican and put him in there. And
wow.
yeah, it was, and I'm sure these guys still exist. I'm sure, hell, they might be in their homes now. But or maybe Rodriguez is taking all their money or something. I don't know. But guys, anyone listening to this stupid ass fucking podcast, know that most of the people you talk to online have motives and auditive motives and whatever else. They either want your money or your body or your mind. And
Or they want to exploit you.
or they want to exploit you.
Yeah, you want to know what that creates, and that's why I think I deal with I kind of gravitate towards your paranoia because having a YouTube channel, I've had to develop that paranoia because I've had
Oh
people come
yes.
after my channel. And
You gotta
it's
you
not
gotta you
fun.
gotta develop you have to develop the paranoia. And now see, that's the other thing. Paranoia is not a blanket term. A lot of people, like when I first opened my channel, this channel, I mean,
Uh,
it's the reason it's hard, so hard for me to leave this fucking channel. It's like brains pulls me back. Like, here, come on, work on it. I mean, and guys, I mean, I tried to move away from it again this past week. I couldn't do it. I kept working on stuff, and I kept uploading stories. I'm like,
well, instead of fighting it, embrace it.
I told myself I wasn't going to write anything. I wasn't going to put anything online. I wasn't going to do anything. I need to focus on here at home, other stuff, and I end up writing a story. I end up doing a fucking interview. I end up doing other interviews, and I end up doing other stories. And that's the reason why the data center thing come out, and that's the reason why the other. I literally wrote a fucking book. A book. I said I wasn't going to do anything. I said I was going to stop doing every fucking thing, and I literally wrote a book to put on fucking Paranoid Times to publish. Now, either something is wrong with me or something is driving me to work on this fucking channel, and I don't know why.
Wait, hold on. Your passion is writing. Either that or you're good at it and it's a comfort zone for you.
No,
It's an
it's not a
outlet.
comfort zone, man. You don't
Is it an outlet?
you don't get how this makes me feel.
Like, well, no,
This.
tell me.
I mean, this channel makes me. I mean, the stuff I work on, the things I deal with, the way I feel. I mean, I see this shit every fucking night, man. It is a fucking nightmare.
So what?
I have good nights and stuff like that. I go to sleep, I wake up, I go to sleep, I wake up, I go to sleep, I wake up, I go to sleep, I wake up. It's over and over and over again. And I see this stuff. I see stuff happen to people. I see stuff happen to people, different things. I go and look online, and there it is. And like for some reason, I'm supposed to fucking write about it. For some reason, I'm supposed to fucking talk about it. Well, I don't want to talk about it.
I remember when I was writing some of my Freeman stuff in the early days, like 2010 and 9 and stuff like that, when I was first doing my blogging. I kind of got that way because you start realizing what you're talking about is dangerous and could put you in a different situation.
Part of that may
And it's,
have been attributed to the alcohol.
uh,
I'm gonna throw it out there. But
Yeah, but you know your governing complex that allows you to filter it. It's actually showing the real you. Yeah, you basically you stripped your governing walls away. Um,
I
but my
got different
question
walls.
is what do you do? What do you do when you're not doing this channel? Like what other channels, what other
I
media,
do
what
this
other stuff do
channel,
you got going?
man. I do this channel.
Yeah,
I
but
work
this
on.
is it.
I go and work on the other channels and parts and bits and pieces to it, and say I'm going to do this other stuff, and I got it worked out. I got it ready, but I come back and I work on this fucking channel.
It's your comfort zone, whether you realize it or not. In the same way, I almost walked away from fucking YouTube, and then when I knew shit was about to go south, I'm like, okay, well, it's about time to revitalize it because that's going to be my only tool to survive. I've already completed the hard part, which is monetization. Let me revive my channel. But yeah, I get to it. But the thing
Well,
is
man, I don't
maybe.
have to be monetized. I don't give a fuck.
Well, no, I'm just saying for me, my situation, like that was my incentive. For you, it's a different incentive.
I mean,
There's something about the
most
process.
people that work on YouTube, most people that work on YouTube, okay,
Hate their channel.
they do it because they want to be monetized. I mean, you cannot say that you didn't want to do YouTube that because you didn't want to be monetized because you saw monetization as a way to get a period of point of income.
Yes,
Okay, that is something
everybody
you know.
does.
Yeah, I know. I looked
You
at it
can't
too when
do
I
this
was
without having that as an end
when I
goal.
first
Doesn't mean
started.
that's your primary
When I
motivation, though.
first started, that's the way I looked at it. That was the thing that I saw. I saw, look, I had income coming in. This is what I needed. And like I said, I've been at this game for a long fucking time. YouTube does something to you. YouTube, the way the system is built, it's the same way TikTok is built. We'll talk about you. We'll talk about TikTok in a minute. Anyone out there, please remind me about fucking TikTok. I'm sure they'll let me slip, but there's been some wild shit going on with that we need to talk about tonight. The way they've been using their system to affect people and make people do things they shouldn't do. We just had an influencer commit suicide because he was fed information from the TikTok engine. Remember when I was
Are you
asking you?
sure
Remember
that's
when I
what
was
caused
asking you
it?
something about like, hey, have you been online and have you felt like you need to do any fucking thing?
Yeah, I know what you're talking. Yeah, I remember the conversation a couple days ago.
And I said something about fucking cigars.
Yeah, and we talked about SiteGround, but SiteGround is an after purchase. Like
But
it's not taking you to do.
they're using the same thing because our dumb goldfish fucking brains, man, are triggered into this stuff. Because we sit here, I mean, look at this stuff. Dude, you're a dude out in the fucking woods and you're on a fucking camera, man.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not trying to say anything bad. I'm grateful that you are. But what I'm
Hmm.
trying to say is, we're addicted to this shit.
I don't know. I'm so jaded by it that like every once in a while I'll get on one of those fucking shorts loops and I'll just watch it. And I know like subconscious I'm just telling myself I'm bored and this is somewhat enjoyable. And but the thing is I'm constantly checking in with myself until I'm like, no, I'm done. And I move on. And the thing is I don't because I attribute this to my mother. I talk about how controlling she was, how manipulative. My mom played so many head games. I can see most of them coming at me. I just let them go through because I'm amused to see what they if they turn out the way I think they will. And it's got me into more trouble than not. But the thing is like
You didn't
when
have
you
one of those mothers that were like Friday the 13th mothers, were you?
my own mom tried to kill me a couple times.
Well, that wasn't Friday the
She tried
13th.
to
You know,
no my
Friday the 13th brother was kind of like, make my boy do stuff, and he like weird, creepy things, and he ended up being a killer on Crystal Lake.
I could have very easily been part of the trench coat mafia. I was on that path if it wasn't for the Mormon church intersecting me when it did. The Mormon church turned
How
me
did
around.
the Mormon Church not turn you into a fucking psychopath? I don't understand this. I don't understand. That's one of the things that I've been. I guess alcohol helps tonight. That's one of the things I've been trying to get off my chest about you. How is the fucking Mormon Church not turning you into a fucking bloody fucking psychopath, man? And
What do you mean?
I'm not trying to offend you, for fuck's sake. I'm not. But
No, I don't
The
understand. What do you
Mormon
mean?
Church. The Mormon Church is the most fucking bizarre shit that I have ever experienced in fucking conspiracy theories. When I have worked on it, I have tried, and I have tried to put together stories after stories about the Mormon Church, and I get hooked up about certain things, and I think it's going well, and it's always something. It is always something. Here recently, I'm still working on the same fucking story I've been working on for fucking 6 years about the Mormon Church. And for 6 years, I kept running into things. And I just ran into another one. I ran into another fucking crazy ass fucking thing that made me pause and think. And that's the thing is where they wait for people to die. And then they take their names and their birth certificates and they go in a special church.
They go to the temple and they do baptisms for the dead.
My fucking God, man.
What are you talking about? Catholic Church does the same thing.
I know
Basically, the
it
Mormon
sounds. I
Church
know it
is the
sounds
Americanized
good.
version of Catholicism.
I know it sounds good. Okay, but we stopped in Catholicism. We stopped that a long fucking time ago.
It doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, it's whether or not the payment's accepted.
I mean,
Okay, so
no, no,
we
no, no, no,
just
no.
because we're
Okay,
using a fake fucking
okay, okay,
card.
okay. What if death? What if your outcome is still dependent on decision? What if the Mormon Church isn't right? What if the Mormon Church is right? What if Catholicism is right? What if the Baptists are right? What if fucking Protestants are right?
We don't know, and it doesn't matter.
We don't know, but what if when you die,
It doesn't matter.
whatever you were, let's say you were Baptist, Protestant, and Catholic, or let's say you were Mormon, Jehovah's Witness, and Catholic, whatever, like me, and you go on there and you die, and you have these three holy things come to you. Now, two of them is a lie, but one of them is not. And and they offer you. They say, okay, look, your family has had you baptized in the dead, and that's your Mormon. And then your other one, you say, well, you're a Catholic, I want to take you with me. My name is Mary, and I want to take you to heaven, and I want to take you out of hell or purgatory. And Baptist, well, it's kind of concerning because you got
fire and brimstone. Yeah,
yeah, fire and brimstone. But you still can get out. You still can get out. But what if you're there and it's based on decision? What if it's based on decision? What if what you decide is based on decision, and you make the wrong decision? Well, you're fucked.
Well, that's because Christian thinking is that you only have one lifetime. If you science is starting to prove that you get more than one lifetime because it's virtually impossible for anyone to get 100% right or to do 100% of anything right on the first try. You have to have years and years and years of practice, which means you need years and years and years of lifetimes of compounded knowledge and wisdom that is turned into evolution. Okay, and so the thing is to think that honestly, I think it's arrogant to think that and conceited to think that you only get one life. And see, here's the thing: you asked like, how come I didn't become a crazy Mormon?
But what evidence do we have that you get more than one life? We don't.
There's actually no. There's fucking documentaries on reincarnation.
Well,
About
I mean,
these
there's
individuals.
documentaries on reincarnation, but there's no documentary. There's no evidence to support the fact of reincarnation. There's no bug. There's no bug or cat or mouse or tiger or fucking giraffe that has taken a pencil or anything that they've had access to. A monkey. A fucking monkey that's learning sign language. Okay, let's go there. A monkey that's learning fucking sign language. You say that there's fucking reincarnation. Okay, well, at some point somebody's going to become a fucking monkey.
Nope.
No, bullshit. Somebody's going to become a fucking monkey. If
No,
you could choose what you become, if you can choose what you become, or if you become whatever you whatever. Somebody's gonna become a fucking monkey, man. Somebody's gonna become a bee. Somebody's gonna become a cat. Somebody's gonna become another person. Somebody's gonna become
They're
whatever it is they need to experience in life to become however it is they are according to Buddha. This is according to Buddha.
Yes, but that's Buddha. That's not. That Hinduism doesn't believe that.
Well, they
Look at
do
what
too.
Hinduism's version of reincarnation is.
They do too. They believe that you
No,
become
no, no.
whatever you
They
need to
believe in the
be.
caste system, and if you're rich, you will always be rich. If you're poor, you will always be poor. So fucking learn your state in life. That's their fucking
Well,
ideology.
no, that's a form. That's a that's an agronaut. That's a form of Buddhism. That's a form of religion. See, that's the other
No,
thing.
that's
That's the other
Hinduism.
thing we don't accept as
That's
people.
Hinduism.
Well, I know, but that's another thing we don't accept as people. That there's people who have different beliefs. Okay, let's go back to. I got to use the bathroom before we continue this. But when I come back, we're going to pick up, and I don't know why the fuck we're going to pick up this, but we're going to pick up at the time of Jesus, and we need to talk about the version of religions and people and thought and things like that. And once we can
Oh,
talk
cool.
about,
We can talk about the Talmud of Manuel.
yeah, but we'll be back. Well, sort of, kind of, maybe. I'll be
Well,
back.
that surrounds
Go
that.
ahead and do
That
a
is
segue.
supposedly
Hey
that
guys,
is
he's
supposedly
doing a
the
segue.
script of Judas.
I'm going to the bathroom and probably going to have a cigarette. I'm like covered in sweat.
All right, I'll plug myself while you're gone.
I got a half a bottle of booze in me. I got to go do
That's it. Lightweight. Um, I for those of you who don't know, I am Friar Tuck. I am the host of Boxcar News. You can find my website boxcarnews.com, or if you're really interested and you really want to go in the deep end, come on over to my YouTube channel, The Epoch of Friar Tuck, and there we talk. I don't do homeless voyeurism, so if you're looking for sob stories, I don't do that. I've been chronically homeless for 25 years. I share my experiences, how I've learned to survive without an addiction, without a major mental health issue. PTSD isn't enough to make you homeless. Unmanaged PTSD is, but I've managed my PTSD effectively for over 15 years. So, so to say that is a contributing factor at 15 years down the road, that's shallow. So there's more that's going on in making people homeless. Back in the day, it just used to be people that were maimed, such as people that had um, like that were either blind or deaf or missing legs or like crippled, and those people were the beggars out on the streets and the homeless, and people took care of them. But as has gone along, as society has evolved, we've created situations that create that cause certain amount of society to fall through the cracks. It's part of its natural attrition. Just like when you get wheat from the farm, it goes to this next destination. There's a certain amount of wheat that is expected to be lost, which is what raises the value of your price of wheat, because what's baked into the price is the actual attrition and loss, including homelessness, which is 1% of your society. There are people that are falling through the cracks for various reasons, whether it be government policy being malicious towards them, their industry, or their well-being. It could be all kinds of different things. So this is something to be thoughtful about when considering the homeless issue. But yes, I've been chronically homeless for 25 years, and I talk about it from someone who's never had to deal with an addiction or anything else like that. At least not a drug addiction. I am addicted to work though, but that's socially acceptable, and um, and so therefore nobody really considers that an addiction. But if I were to really be honest about myself and what my problem is, it's really I'm addicted to work so much that it's burnt me out and makes it hard for me to. If you work too much and you don't rest, your body gets burnt out and then you become less productive. And then eventually, if you keep forcing yourself, you don't become productive at all, and you're maybe a quarter of your original production. So for those that you love to work, understand it comes with consequences.
What are you talking about? I just got back.
I was talking about being a workaholic,
Oh, like workaholic.
like how it degrades you.
It does. It does. It actually. It
It's
actually.
as bad as a drug addiction, but it's socially acceptable.
Now. I know I've said in the past that I was thinking out there when I was smoking. I was thinking that all my friends, if any of you are young and listening to this, and I don't see why you would, but if you are, God bless you. Um, but lock in your friendships because one day your friends will probably be gone. They will
Or
die
you'll be
off.
in a pinch and they'll be the only ones
Well,
that
no,
bail
no,
you
I'm not
out.
talking about that. I'm not talking about people you can hate on. You know, I'm talking about even the people that I hate on are gone. At some point, like I said, I'm almost 50 years old, and the people that I used to hang with, the people that I wrote stories with, the people, my photographer, my news people, my, you know, people that I worked with in the past, people I played games with, people I did everything with, they're dead, man. They're gone. I got a few friends left.
Really, I'm the only person I've had like that that's been close to me was my first business partner, and that was after our business went separate ways.
Yeah, but I mean, there's people in there. There's people you might reconnect with, some you might come across, and then there's people you might be one of those individuals that mature late in life, and believe it or not, that I actually met a bunch of Mormons that are like that. People that were Mormons and that were not Mormons that become like, well, this is how I was raised, and then suddenly they're like on a quest to find their buddies. And I like to think of Jason as one of my buddies. I do.
Tuck,
He's a good guy. I mean, I think he
hey,
is.
Tuck.
Oh yeah, Tuck. Sorry. I'm sorry. But it was an emotional response, sir. It's one of those fucking things. But and that's the reason why I talk to him. That's the reason why I talk to him so much.
Yeah, we kind of are
I like talking
similar.
to him. I like you know bantering with him. There was another guy that I like bantering with, and man, he turned out to be a fucking sicko.
Really? How?
Oh god, I used to have blasts with him. Like when I first got back on the internet, I got on Facebook and I was at the first part of my Facebook, whatever, and probably when I had like one or two groups. Now I have thousands, and now I'm part of thousands. I mean, well, probably 5,000, 6,000. I have more groups than most people. My page gets more views than most people's gets. And it's not because I post anything fucking relevant. It's just because I'm myself and I post bullshit, and I occasionally post something that triggers everybody. I admit that. Um, and I've tried it for everything. I've tried it for work. I've tried it for Paranoid Times. I've tried it for partnerships that I've done with people that I met over the years. Um, Brad is one of them. He's a good guy. Uh, and I still work with him to some degree. But he mostly does all the heavy lifting. I mean, since all the shit that happened to me, I wasn't able to help him. So he's just kind of like, hey, dude, you're just part of it. This is what it is. If you guys grow weed and go check out Devil Dog Genetics.
I've heard that name.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, stuff he's worked on, stuff I worked on. He's got some pretty wild stuff. I mean, he goes the extra mile. He goes out there. He'll go to like concerts and stuff like that. Nine
He'd be
Inch
a good
Nails,
guy
shit
to
like that.
introduce to my neighbor.
He goes out there and he's like, He hands off weed. He's like, here, smoke this. Tell me what you think. He's a fucking crazy ass Marine, and it's just what it is. If you're gonna grow it, grow the best.
Yeah,
Um,
my neighbor is a commercial grower. I think he grows like 64 or 80 some odd plants. So yeah, maybe but yeah, he is so into it. Like he's read so many books and stuff like that on it,
well, when when
and
when,
like,
when
but
I was homeless, in Mount Airy, I hope this doesn't. I hope there isn't a what's that you call when a crime runs out? Statute of limitations. Okay. I hope there
yeah,
isn't a statute of limitations because I'm gonna admit this on air. Of course, motherfuckers, if you try to pin me to this, you'll still have to prove it. When
yeah,
I was,
you're under the influence, so nothing you say is admissible in court.
that's right, that's right, that's right. But when I was homeless, I used to grow quite a bit of weed, and
Okay.
in Mount Airy, North Carolina, there's a river that runs through. And by the way, Mount Airy, North Carolina, if you were to look it up right now, it has been hit by the worst flood that it has ever been hit before. Um, I, I'm I was born in Virginia. I'm a North Carolina boy. But I like Virginia. I do. North Carolina. I mean, Virginia has done me right in so many ways, and done me wrong in so many others. So I mean, it's literally rubbed me on the head and bent me over. North Carolina has bent me over a few times, and I just kind of went with it because I was used to what happened in Virginia. Because well, I live on the line. That makes any sense. So I could go like one side, I could be in North Carolina, another side I can be Virginia. So you kind of your allegiance goes to one or the other. And I've lived in both places. And when I was homeless, I lived in North Carolina for a while, Mount Airy, and I just had left a place called Brick City. Brick City was a development, what you would call the projects or the slums, and there was a river that run through the area, just like up here where I'm at now. But along the river there was parks, and in the trees I would grow weed. I would grow a whole bunch of weed, and to some they said it was the best weed. But that being said, I don't know where I was going with this fucking story or why I was admitting to this, but I was growing weed in trees. Maybe that was it. So, what were we talking
Okay.
about?
You were talking about your friend, Marine.
Yeah, I was talking about weed. But yeah, I mean, like I said, grow weed, um, grow good weed. A lot of the weed I grew down there that come out and that, you know, stuff that I grew, you probably had, you probably used, you probably seen in high times. Go to Devil Dog Genetics, pay them a visit, type it in, go to Facebook, don't care, send them a message, bug the fuck out of them. You might get to talk to me, I don't know. Um, but hit them up. Um, let's get off the subject. All right, let's see. I still gotta do the Florida man thing.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and get that out of the way?
I don't know if I can. All right, I'm gonna try. All right, guys. All right, now, it seems to be a common thing that we get in over an hour and we get to like the main fucking story. Now we have a subscriber. Now I'm going to try to show my page here. Oh, lovely. The VDH confirms its first case of Dengue fever virus in Virginia. All right. We'll start with this.
What is that?
I think it makes you bleed from the. I think it has to do with mosquitoes, like we was talking about. Yeah, mosquito-borne pathogen spread primarily by the mosquitoes which we have around here. Um, common signs: high fever, severe headache, pain behind the eyes, muscle and joint pains, nausea, vomiting, rash. Motherfucker, I experience all that stuff every day. That's the reason why I'm drinking tonight. All right, symptoms usually start 5 to 7 days after a bite, and last for 2 to 7 days. You can die from it. Severe belly pain, repeat vomiting, bleeding gums, nose, blood and stool, extreme fatigue. Uh, don't look fun. Let's put it that way.
Oh wow.
And it is one of the viruses of the lot. Okay. Now we are going to talk about Eric tonight. Eric is the current resident of Green Tree Circle of Panama City, Florida.
Oh, I know Panama City.
All right, and
I got a friend down there.
I am going to share my screen, so you guys are going to have to painfully go through what I do here. And if you see anything, I don't want to hear about it. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Yes, I have a bunch of screens. So anyway, this is our man here. This is Eric. He is currently incarcerated in Washington County Sheriff's Office. I don't know where they're going to send him. Well, I do actually. They're going to send him to Bay County. But it is a out of county warrant, aggressive battery. Anyway, this is a subscriber. So if you guys can figure out some way to help this guy, please do. But we're going to talk about him tonight. And his girlfriend contacted me. He contacted me last night. He was not in prison. Something happened. So we're gonna talk about that. I was talking about weed with him. Jesus Christ. All right. So I got to go through the messages here and look what I'm. Different things that I was trying to talk about. But anyway, what interests me is the guy that he got into a fight with over the girlfriend that he is currently with was part of a vampire cult. Now, he sent me a news article, which got me. Wait a minute, probably not the right one. Right, no, okay. Here is the news clip from WJHG-TV. Tuck, tell me if you can hear it.
I'm watching.
All right, here we go.
I mean, there's like a 10-second delay.
Tonight with breaking news. Panama City officials say a fight over an ex turned into a machete brawl outside of Publix. News Channel 7's Isabella Benhumea joins us live now with the latest. And Isabella, what happened? What details are you getting?
Jess, I'm at the Publix in front of 231 by Lindsay Crossings, and Panama City officials tell us that right before 3 p.m., the police department responded to this parking lot over a verbal altercation between two white adult males who were fighting over an ex-girlfriend. This verbal altercation then escalated and turned into a fight involving machetes. We're told both men received non-life-threatening injuries and were taken to a local hospital. We are also told that after they receive medical treatment, both of them will be criminally charged. And like you said, Jess, they were allegedly fighting over an ex-girlfriend. We will work on getting more details for you guys, but as you can see, there's no more police presence here in this parking lot, and we're told that this was an isolated incident and there is no further threat to the public. Once we know more, we will let you know. For now, back to you, Jess.
Beginning tonight with...
All right, now every time I watch that, I'm well, one of the things is that the newscaster, the one reporting on the story, she looks inexperienced to me, but I think she'll make it far. But
He's young.
But my eyes are consistent to her knockers.
Yeah.
And anyway, I don't want to say what I'm gonna say. But yeah, but that's what happened. That's the first video he sent me. He's like, okay, I want to send you something. I'm like, okay, I'm like, cool, and I'm like, you know, I mean, and he's like, dude, this will make a great meme. Now, this is before he went to jail. See, both of but Eric and this other guy were already arrested, and Eric was let go. But this morning they come back and got Eric, which I figure once Florida had you, they don't let you go until you're done. You know.
Well, I
My
think it's kind
experience
of
with
weird
Florida,
that they had an opportunity to catch him on the warrant to begin with. They should. The fact that they didn't, I would call into question.
now we're going to talk about, yeah, here it is, the news article. Man sentenced to 15 years in vampire cult murder. This is the guy he got into a fight with. This was the fourth of 5 called vampire cult murder suspects was sentenced to 15 years in prison Friday. Somebody helped ambush him or whatever. But here's the other thing that got me. The case picked up the name vampire cult, which was accused or claimed to be part of a vampire, part werewolf. This reminded me of the Necronomicon murders. But apparently, Eric told me when I asked him, sorry, he said, here's the video of him getting into the fight with the guy. Or the guy getting into a fight with him. Sorry. The guy was getting into a fight with him. You know, I don't want to.
Hold on, I'm trying to get back to it.
Okay.
Get your ass in the fucking car and let's go.
I think that's his girlfriend.
Get in the car and lock the goddamn door.
Here comes the dude with a machete. This is the vampire cult guy. He was released early from prison.
What you want to do?
What you want to do? Get the fuck away from me.
I don't give a fuck.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
So my dude here grabbed the bow
You need to
knife.
get the fuck on, James.
Fucking ass in my fucking shit.
Hey!
Get in your fucking car, pussy.
Stop!
Get in your car, pussy.
Stop!
Get in your car.
Y'all need to stop.
Fucking kick your ass.
You want me? You do what to me, pussy?
Fuck you.
You gonna do what to me? You go with me. You gonna do what to me?
God damn it.
Stop! Yeah, nice, stop, nice. Stop!
Fucking pussy.
Hey!
All right, that is all of that one. But you can kind of see what happened. Anyway,
So the boyfriend's getting his ass kicked, huh?
well, for there he was getting pushed up against, but he got now the boyfriend is Eric, the guy that we're supposed to be rooting for here. He's the one that didn't have the vampire cult. The other guy had the vampire cult. The other guy was sentenced to 15 years in prison in Florida, but was released early. You know, and he showed the video to the police officers, and the police officer said he was fine. Let him go, gave him back his knife and everything else. And, you know, this morning the police come out there.
If you watch the video, you can see that he took the first swing.
Yeah, something happened there.
The guy approached him, and then you see it right there. You start to see it like where he punched the dude in the fucking face, and then he gets his ass pummeled.
Now I got a lot of other videos here that I have not watched yet. So you might want to go back over the stream again, and we'll go through these. Now these are the videos that come from his girlfriend. She asked me to set up a GoFundMe for him. Now, and I have no problem doing that, except I mean, I don't see what good it would do for me to set up a GoFundMe for him. But like I said, if you know people, share the story, let people know that dude is in jail, he needs help, whatever. If you're in the area, whatever. I don't know. Send him a note, drop him a kite or whatever. But she claims to have no memory of what happened 24 hours after. But here is a video. Here is the arrest report of what happened, what the cops took down. And like the guy wasn't doing anything wrong. The only thing, and this is our guy here. The only thing the guy didn't do is, I think it's our guy. The only thing the guy didn't do was, apparently, um, he has an old warrant, so I think he'll be out of jail quick. And there's the vampire cult stuff. But here are the other videos. I'm gonna play those. Wait a minute, we'll go again. I think that's the one that we played already. Yeah, that's the one he already played. Now we'll go play the other video. Here's a video I haven't seen.
Yeah, you'll care when you start fucking screaming. When it happens, then you're gonna fucking care. And you're gonna scream, and you're gonna cry, and you're gonna yell for help.
So apparently he had him pinned.
But I promise you, if that happens, you're gonna be somewhere where there's nobody that can help you. So please, get out of my car. I am begging you to please get out of my car before you push me into a state of mind I cannot come back from. I am begging you. But you don't give a fuck. Only thing you care about is your goddamn self, what the fuck you want, and your fucking temper tantrums. Get out of my vehicle. Get out of my car. Get out. If you want to solve the problem, get the fuck out of the car. Oh wait, you don't want to solve the problem because you're the fucking problem. And in order to solve the problem, you gotta admit that you're the problem, and you're not going to. Get out of my car.
Yet all of this started about your actions.
No, all this started about
done.
shit that I didn't fucking do, and you're trying to claim I did, but I don't have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
No, you might want to talk to your other personality.
Get out
because
of my
all done
car.
on your phone, your email, all of that.
Get out of my car. Get out of my car.
Okay. Well, as far as I know, that's all he says. But anyway, you get the point. I don't know. I mean, I don't think the guy seems like a good guy. He does. He seems like a good guy. I don't know. I got to fix my video here. Hold on a minute. Go back to sources. Display capture. Go away. Okay, there we go. But yeah, I understand if this stuff kind of happens to you guys and you reach out to me and, I don't have it all together. And I can't set up and run a GoFundMe site for you guys and manage that and get money to you and get all that going for you. I barely can get the shit done that I need to get done for myself. But I like to help any way I can. But Eric, I thought he was, and I still do. I think he's a great guy. And he got mixed up with bad people, and he's in a bad situation, and I don't know that there's been a lot of wars and a lot of things fought over women, and you're in a situation that there's a lot of go back and forth there. Yeah, I know. I say I don't know what to do with it. So that's what I said. If someone's in the area, whatever, go send them a note, do whatever, say hi. I don't think he'll be in jail long. I don't. I think he'll be out.
He's got an assault charge.
But it's Florida. Come on, Florida let you out there. They just want to get you.
No, 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 not. That's the thing. Because he's homeless. No. Yeah. There's um uh the no, because he's homeless. The laws are going to be, especially with the no. I would expect it to be a little bit more harsher on him. I would expect him to probably get the full extent because he's already homeless. They want him off the streets.
No, I mean I had problems in Florida before. You know, like I said on the earlier stream, and I'll stand by it 100%. I can show it. I can prove it. But my grandpa owned property down there in Florida. We owned property. We owned a trailer park right outside Disney at the time. Man, this was 50 some years ago. And my family moved back up here. We still owned it. Grandpa and him left the trailer. Didn't give a fuck. You know, cultural changes, whatever. Well, my bright ass, when I turned of age, I decided I was going to drive down and go see my family property. I get down there, and it turns out to be a part of Disney. And I go do research, and I find that Disney had bought that property, had taken that property. You know, through what is it?
Adverse possession.
Yes, adverse possession. But see, Florida's got laws that prevent that, and they got to pay you. They have to pay you, and they have to pay you what the property is worth when you decide to claim it. And well, if you go down there and you try to claim a piece of Disney's property, I don't care if it's an acre or 10 acres or whatever, and you get by with it, they're going to have to pay you billions per acre. Billions. Because that's what the property's worth. All these people come to Disney. All these people go there. All these people go to the rides. All these people go to the different things. They got to be interact with the portions of Disney. So they got to be on the property that your family used to own, that you used to own, or whatever. So they got to pay you. Well, I started looking into it, and I started filing the papers. And the next thing I knew, I was in Key West because I thought Key West was safe. And I was arrested. I was taken Key West International.
Uh-huh.
I was booked like a common thug. I was a young kid, too. You could pull up pictures of me. I was in leather. They arrested me in fucking leather, man. I was in fucking leather. I'm talking whole body leather here. I mean, I probably looked like gay leather before gay leather was gay leather. I was not gay.
You are a wicked sensitive dude.
Huh?
You are a wicked sensitive dude.
No. I was going for the pirate look. You know, the big shirt, black pants and stuff like that. That's what I was going for.
But that's what the rockers of the 80s
I was
wore.
going to fucking Florida. I was going for that. I wanted to look like a fucking pirate, man. That's the way I wanted to look. I was stupid. So I went down there. I wanted to look like a fucking pirate. So I looked like a fucking pirate.
That sounds like something my fucking
They arrested
buddy Paul
me.
would do.
I was in leather. I had leather pants on. Full leather pants. I had a fluffy shirt on. And the girl I was with at the time, they strip searched her out in public. They were making a point. They were making a point. And that's kind of the way it went. So don't fuck with Florida,
I would have
man.
filed
Don't fuck with
assault
Florida.
charges.
Yeah, don't fuck with Florida.
Oh yeah, I had a Space Coast sheriff tell me fuck the Constitution.
So when I go to Florida now, I don't make any stink. For 10 years, I was scared to go to Florida. I waited until statute of limitations ran out and waited for a federal judge to squash the charges that happened in Florida before I went back to Florida. Because my ass didn't want to be on a chain gang.
What do you mean squash it? Like, what did they charge you with?
Um,
Trespassing?
well,
Vandalism?
no, they said lying to a police officer, providing false
How?
identity, crack cocaine. Um,
You had crack on you?
no, I didn't have shit on me.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't. I didn't have. Man, I couldn't afford fucking drugs. I made it to fucking Key West, Florida, on a fucking Social Security check. I went to Florida on a Social Security check. Went all the way down to Key West, trying to find my old lady. The old lady I was with. I didn't have a job at the time. The old lady I was with, she had a Social Security check. So we were down there. We went down there. So here she was. God knows what she was thinking. Not the current one I'm with. And her old man driving a car dressed as a fucking pirate. So here we are driving down there to fucking Florida, and we go through Space Coast and everything else, and we go to Jacksonville and everything else, and we get to Key West, and that's when it happened. That's when they were told to pick me up after I knew my business and there at Disney. But yeah, don't fuck with Florida. But yeah, they
Oh,
squashed
no.
it. The police officers that arrested us was charged eventually with falsifying evidence and something else. I didn't get no money out of it. I mean, I didn't get anything out of it like that. But they were eventually charged with falsifying evidence, and they themselves were sent to prison. That
That's better than money.
that they had been doing this to other people. They've been doing like they would pull you over. They didn't like you, or they were told to do it, or whatever. Then they put you in the back of the police car. They take you to the jail. You go into the jail, and they'd claim to search the police car. And in the back of the police car, they'd say they found a crack pipe. And I mean, I've never done crack in my life, ever. And I
You
mean, they drug tested me too, and there wasn't nothing on me, in me.
I had a roommate tell me about when Texas. His buddy was from Oregon, like me, and in Oregon, we hold our police accountable. Like at least back when I was growing up, we did. The police were way different than they are now. But anyways, so the guy was calling the cop out. You got probable cause. You got this. You got that. Fucking calling the cop on every step of the way, because that's what you do in Oregon. You hold your fucking cops accountable. You make sure they do the right thing. Well, he ended up declaring that he had a gun. They asked him to reach in and grab it. And when they did, they shot him in the back, paralyzed him from the waist down. And in the police report, they said he reached for his gun, and so they were defending themselves. The guy apparently was so terrified afterwards, he kept his mouth shut.
Oh, he didn't have a gun. I don't know. I mean, it seems that you go back and you talk about flock cameras. It seems like that people are being targeted with those. I mean, you got to admit, all right, you have people come into police departments. You have various police departments. You have, you have different individuals. Not everybody thinks the same way. So that's the way that is. And now you have people abusing flock cameras and systems because you have a computer screen, you have a command prompt, and you can type in something like "go search for so and so." Like I want to go search for Tuck, I would type in "go search for Tuck," and it would pull me up.
Well, they wouldn't find Tuck. They'd only find.
You know what I mean. You know what
Yeah,
I mean.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. I was. You didn't want me to use your name. I didn't mean to.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I was just, yeah. Never mind. Got it.
Okay. So
Um,
what I'm trying to say is I type it in and it pull it up, and police are abusing this. I found numerous stories of individuals using, like one, there was a police officer that used the flock system to track his girlfriend because he thought she was cheating on him. She was, by the way.
Yeah.
I
He
guess
deserved it.
you have a paranoid motherfucker like that, you're probably gonna get cheated on. Admitted that. Now, I'll be the first one to admit that. You paranoid, you're probably gonna get cheated on. You probably don't work very well in relationships. It's just something that happens. You have to find that special someone that can put up with your bullshit. You have to find somebody that can deal with the way you are.
Your ups and your downs.
Because I mean, I've gone through every stage of it. Love is a funny, fucked up thing. I mean, there was times when like I was super fucking jealous, and as a guy, all right, as a woman, you can probably understand that see jealousy and stuff like. And I know you experience jealousy too, and you experience the same things we experience. But from a guy's point of view, you have jealousy, and you look at and you're with somebody, and you're thinking about all the stuff they possibly could do, and they go out and they do stuff, and you don't know what they're doing. So, and they come home, and in the back of your mind, you wonder if they cheated on you, or you wonder if they've done something, or you wonder if they've been with somebody else.
You know what I learned in that situation? Because I remember going through the same thing. I think every guy does. But what I learned in that situation is if I start questioning things, that means that I've lost confidence in the relationship, and it either needs to be repaired or go separate ways.
Well, we all have. I mean, as soon as you go into a relationship, you've lost confidence in it. And I mean,
Not necessarily, not
oh, you
everybody.
have. You're not in a relationship you've ever been in. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to be mean.
Huh?
I'm not trying to be mean, but you've not been in a relationship that you are not currently in a relationship with somebody that I don't know what I'm trying to say is. All I'm saying is, if you think a certain way, it's probably not true because it doesn't work out that way. Um,
Uh, I was married for 4 years, and I learned that's why I'll never get married again. I learned a lot of important things, like loyalty is a two-way street. Just because you give it, you don't get it.
One of my first relationships was 15 years long. My
See, I've never had anything that my marriage is the longest relationship I've ever had. And quite frankly, she was really good for me, but there was a couple of things and that was an impasse that we could never get past.
this current relationship has been 13 years
Okay.
long. Now, mind you, I have not been the best person through those 15 or 13 years. I go to places, I do things, I see stuff goes on, I do stories, I interact with people. When you going back to the whole flurry, the whole me going to the party with the um, furry people, the man and wife and people and stuff. In the same city, I went to another party and there was a guy there that overweight dude. Now this is something that you cannot get the image out of your head. I'm an overweight guy.
Yeah.
This guy was overweight. Here is an overweight guy that pays women to watch him sit on cakes. This was what this whole party was about.
Okay, so everybody has their kinks. Everybody has their
It
thing.
doesn't seem that bad when you talk about it to begin with, but it is fucking
It might not be pleasant to
horrible.
see.
It is fucking horrible when you watch it in person.
Okay, so just don't be there in person.
Well, you can't help that.
Well, you know what? That you willfully went in to get traumatized, and you gotta suffer
I do.
consequences.
I willfully go in to be traumatized by this stuff so other people don't have to be traumatized so they can hear about it sometime, at some point.
And
You
so
know,
the
it's been
insinuations can
8 years.
traumatize them.
It's been 8 years since I talked about this. So I mean, you know, it's what it is.
I don't know why does that really bother you about people's dark sexual fantasies?
Because I started seeing stuff. I started seeing a pattern. And
Okay, what's the
I've been trying to
pattern?
get it out of my head, and it's been bothering me.
What's the pattern?
The pattern is human nature.
Okay.
Okay, you start seeing all these people, normal people, you know, going back to the preachers and going back to the kids and going back to fucking all-star football players and being
Mm-hmm.
arrested for some dark shit. And
Okay.
the reason they're being arrested for this dark shit is because they're going down this chain of events of sexual fantasies and actions and stuff like that. The internet gives them a place for them to try and play this stuff out. Okay, they either watch it or try it out. Right now, you can go on Reddit and you can find any flavor of fornication that you possibly want.
Really? Reddit?
Yes, Reddit. Trust me. I'll send you fucking links if you want them because guess what? I'm there.
Honestly, I'm a U porn or a Pornhub guy or an XNXX.
You know,
That's that.
I mean, it's better this way because you can verify the people are real. You can verify the people are, and you can go ahead and check them out, see what they talk about, what they post, what they're after, what they want. If they're content creators, or if they are just the casual experimenters, you know, the casual
But I don't
astronauts.
think what's wrong with that. Honestly,
There's nothing
here's
wrong with that. There's nothing. There's nothing actually wrong
why
with
does
the
it
casual
bother you
astronaut.
then?
But there is something wrong with people who go out and they seek it and they keep looking for something harder and harder and harder and harder. And that is
Okay.
and that is what our culture and our system is pushing us toward. And that's what's making these other people do the things they're doing.
Well, because it's all about competition.
No, 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 no.
You're
It's
competing.
about addiction. It's about the
Yes,
next.
but it's
It's
all.
about the
But
endorphin rate, the endorphin thing.
yeah, but that's still.
Like you gotta watch. You
I'm.
gotta watch this kind of porn, and then you gotta watch something. After you watch it for a while, it doesn't do what it did for you, and then you gotta watch something darker than that. I got
Dude, if
people.
it wasn't for my work accident, I would be an adrenaline junkie today, always seeking the newest fucking thrill. I had to tame myself back in that. You know, there's always people that are going to want to push the limits, but the thing is, what you really got to ask yourself is where's their ethical boundaries? Are their ethical boundaries humane or inhumane? Not what you decide is humane and inhumane. It's does it do harm to them psychologically, emotionally, or physically? And to a point that they did not agree to it. You know, and that's really where ethics come in. You know, and that's kind of the boundaries you got to get. Because I mean, I've met some people with some weird ass fetishes, but if it's consensual, it's consensual. Okay, and even if it's tied to a dollar amount, it's consensual. And in a capitalistic society, you can pay for anything. And indulgence is for the rich.
But here's my point. People seek out more and more stuff, more and more dangerous stuff, and that is the way things have been going.
Because they're dead inside.
Oh, they are. I mean, I agree with you 100%.
There's
But
nothing to
but
do
but
except
but
for
the
get
but
up
the
and go to work.
people,
You want a
the,
thrill. You want to remind
but there's
yourself you're alive.
individuals. There's onlookers. I mean, there's a reason why I go to these things. You know, I have been. I don't go to them anymore. But you know, there's a reason why I went to them. You know, there's a curiosity, invention, whatever. But it does something to you when you go to an event and you see 40 furries all jacked up on crystal meth screwing each other.
Oh, that must have been fucking entertaining as hell.
Oh, it is.
I would have been laughing my ass off. I'd have been like, "Can I come to the next one?" Shit. Hey, dude, that would be so entertaining for me. But you know, I'm yeah. You know, I'm kind of like I'm the type of guy that likes to voyeur shit like that. If it's weird and entertaining, I'll watch it just because it's weird and entertaining.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I mean, online is one thing, but going on, like, people know who you are. People are, you answer an ad out of curiosity or something like that, and they invite you out for curiosity. You do a story on, or you think you can, and I ran out of fucking copy, and you get exposed to this stuff, and I mean, the amount of stuff that you do not get exposed. All right, okay, let me rephrase that. The amount of stuff you, J Public, do not get exposed to from Gonzo journalism. The kind of stuff that I do, the kind of stuff that Tuck does, the kind of stuff that other people that you may be
What is
accustomed.
gonzo journalism?
Gonzo journalism. Well, I'm going to read the definition as it was told by the man.
Because it's not gotcha like what O'Keefe
No,
does.
no, no.
And quite frankly, I'm not necessarily offended. I see a place for it, but I think he's burning some bridges.
What now?
O'Keefe Media Group.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Hmm?
I don't know about that. Now, Gonzo journalism, as defined by Hunter H. S. Thompson, the brilliant mind that gave us Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. The guy that decided to shoot himself and be, after he was cremated, to be shot from a cannon on the back of his property. Because he couldn't take America anymore. Gonzo journalism is a highly speculative style of journalism, or reporting, where the writer becomes a central character, the active participant in the story. Now, mind you, you are the writer. You become the active viewer of the story. You become part of the story. You're embedded within the story. You're talking about the stuff that you see, the stuff that you hear, the stuff that you witness. This is gonzo journalism. It rejects the traditional journalistic detachment and objectivity, using the first-person perspective, humor, sarcasm, aggravation, and social critique. It allows us to be the people we are. It allows us to be the people we were destined to be, not the people that society and norms decided us to be. The government says you need to be this way to be a journalism. We say, fuck you. We are the people that we want to be. We report this how we want to. We report this as it happens, and then we offer you our criticism. This is gonzo journalism at its heart. The pioneer was Hunter H. S. Thompson. The first time it was ever said, it was in 1970 article about the Kentucky Derby. If you want to see what happened during that, you can go watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Johnny Depp met this man. Johnny Depp interviewed this man. Johnny Depp is one of us. 100%. He embraced the style. He understood the style. He understood what the individuals that go through, that report on this type of style, go through. Who they are, what they see, what they feel. Now, subjectivity. The author, you, the person reporting on this, or me, personal feelings, bias, and experiences are more important than the objective listing of facts.
Why?
Because the way you feel about something is more important than if the man that was on top of the Empire State Building jumped off and killed himself. Because what you felt in that moment is what everyone else is going to feel. And you need to go ahead and feed them that. You need to go ahead and show them what they need to feel.
So it's empathy journalism.
No,
It's forcing a person to have empathy by creating a story to put them in those shoes.
well, in a way, you need to make people feel. You need to
Yes,
you need to take the numb, boring journalism that there is, that there was at that time, and that there is now, and you need to make people feel.
but that's the problem that
You
we
need to
have.
make people
That's why
feel.
social media is out of
You have to
control.
figure out how to make people feel.
But that's why social media is out of control. It is so
If there
chaotic, and you're not getting
Tuck
anything.
Tuck, if there is anything you can take away from this master class, since you've known me, is that you need to learn how to make people feel. You need to figure that out. That is the most
And it's got to
important
be
thing.
more than sob stories. You got to
No,
make people feel good inside.
you got to make people feel good inside. You got to make people feel sad inside. You got to make people cry. You got to make people feel. If you write about the president, if you interview the president, if you tag along with the president, you got to make people feel as if they are beside that president. If you are out in public and you're eating at a diner and someone is telling you a heartfelt story, you need to make people feel that heartfelt story. That is gonzo journalism. That is it at a core. In today's society, has either tried to redefine that or they have tried to reinvent that. And they've tried to create something that is contaminated, burnt. See, today's society wants to tell you, like, if they see something that's going on, they see something the president's doing, they see something somebody else is doing, and they want to tell you how they feel about it. Now, that's fine with guns of journalism. But it's not okay to make them slide over to your side of the point and make it and make them think that this
But that's
person is
what
a horrible
having the
person.
bias is about, though. That's what the whole
But you don't.
feeling is about.
There needs to be no bias, but you need to show them what you're experiencing at that point. You need to
But that's
figure
a
that out.
bias. It's a personal point of view. It's a perception. It's not a fact. It's a perception. It's a bias.
Yeah, but that's the aspect. That's the aspect that comes with journalism. You need to figure out where to
But
throw
that's what we
yourself
get
in.
from Fox News and MSNBC, and it doesn't seem to be working well for us.
Mm-mm.
What we need is honest journalists that are seeking out, like
Well, no. You
the
need a journalist. No. I think you're taking it wrong. No, like what Fox, and all these other ones. CNN, and
it's all opinion.
it's all
It's
opinion.
all
It's
Here's what it is.
but
This is
see,
what
it's
I think.
opinion. I want you to write me a story.
Hmm.
I want you to write me a story. Like if I send you to, like for example, when this first came out was about the Kentucky Derby.
Hmm.
Okay. Hunter S. Thompson was sent out by the New York Times, I think it was, to go report on to Las Vegas to go report on the Kentucky Derby. He went to go do that, but he decided to report on his time there in Las Vegas, and he called it the American Dream. He went out there. He did drugs. He drunk. He had his friend out there. Imagine me and you on with an unlimited amount of drugs and alcohol and everything, being at a Las Vegas hotel for 7 days. Okay.
I mean, have fun. Tell your story.
Yeah, I know, but that's the
What'd you
idea.
learn, though?
That's the
But see, the
idea.
thing is like,
And knowing at some point within those 7 days, one of us has got to go to fucking work and report on this fucking story. You don't want to go report on the story. You've gone to Vegas to do drugs and drink. You've gone to Vegas to report on what the American dream is. The American dream is to go to Vegas or go do whatever, travel, do whatever, the house, to whatever, to do what you want to do, to experience the things you want to do, to go through the things you want to do. And they did that. And they traveled, and they did the things they wanted to do. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is a perfect example of what the idea and the capture and the feeling that you need to get from gonzo journalism.
Okay, it was more like an experience of consciousness through, basically. Did he, like, I think I've seen the movie. I'm fairly certain I've seen the movie because that sounds like one of my ex-wife's favorites.
It was. It probably was. But the foundational text to this was the Kentucky Derby, the decade, and the pride. I'm going to see if I can find you the article and send it to you. I'm going to send you the Wikipedia. I want you to go search it out, and you can go figure it out from there. But that is it. Jesus Christ. Somebody on Facebook popped up again. But that will show you what it's about. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was a version of it, I guess you would say. But it showed the gonzo style, I guess whatever. But But it is a good idea, the way that a person should approach certain things and the way they should look at certain things. And you should look at certain things from your own point of view. But you should withhold your opinion to some degree.
Okay, but what I'm doing with what I'm talking about, I'm giving my, like, okay, so you watch my live stream today.
Right. And
how many segments did you watch? Just the one, or
no?
I'll
watch the majority of them. I mean, when I
I'm talking about just today because you said you were on the live stream with me.
I mean, I was on there for a while. I mean, I have it playing in the background. So I mean, if you ask me for how long,
you're in and out. Okay.
Yeah, I'm working on things. I'm doing things. I'm doing stuff.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about. I do the same thing.
But.
I'm just, because I don't think what I'm doing is gonzo journalism, because what I do is I talk about it, I give the real world application. This is where I might come in alignment with gonzo
but
journalism.
You're talking about
my experience.
Yes, you're talking about.
But the thing is
you're
I'm
talking
also,
about the news articles.
Because of my experience, I'm also forming an opinion.
You are, and that is fine.
But that's not gonzo journalism.
Yeah, that is gonzo journalism. What you're doing is gonzo journalism. Okay. When you come on live stream, you're talking about the shit that's going on, the stuff that you're doing, like the homeless stuff that you're doing and everything else. And you're out there in the public, and you're, interacting with the public and doing whatever it is you're doing. Okay, now that's one aspect of it. That's your normal life. Your normal life is the borderline between gonzo. Okay, now all this other stuff that you're starting to bring into it, like, you're talking about all these other things that happen, the stuff that you want to get your point across, the stuff that you want to inject into your live stream. Those are the topics that you're bringing up, that you're offering your viewpoint on. That's fine. That's fine as fuck to talk about that stuff. But your normal life runs along parallel with what you're doing. Like if you're a drug addict, and you're doing all this stuff, and you're talking about fucking, fentanyl overdoses and stuff. Well, to me, that would be fucking hilarious. Wouldn't be for most people, but to me, it would be, because you're a drug addict, you're exposed to this stuff, and you're talking about fentanyl overdoses. That is gonzo. You are homeless. You are in this system. You are experiencing this stuff. You are going through this. You are living it. This is your life experience. This is the thing that is making you. The thing that's been making you, that's been crafting you, that's been building you as a person that you. Everyone can't be the same way. I mean, you get that right. Everyone cannot be the same way. Everyone has to be a different mold of whatever they're supposed to be. So, Tuck has to be this mold of whatever he's supposed to be. Tuck has to experience all of this shit that he's supposed to experience. Tonight you go to sleep, you're in a hammock or whatever, you go to sleep, you're on the ground, and you wake up tomorrow, you go do this shit all over again. For some reason, you're supposed to experience this fucking shit, man. I know it's fucking bad.
Oh no, I'm right there with you. I think I'm supposed to be homeless because, dude, I've owned a business and I've gone to fucking college. Two things that should have ensured that I should never be homeless again. And guess where I'm at? I have no criminal record. I don't have a drug addiction. PTSD is not debilitating enough unless it's highly unmanaged, which is like the first couple of years. But since then, like I had almost 20 years of no hospitalizations. So I don't have, I'm not in a mental health crisis. How the fuck do I end up homeless again? I mean, I was even following the fucking law. I didn't lay hands on the bitch. But because she's scared, well, you know what? I almost got dispossessed of my dog and everything I owned.
Well, I mean, here is I'm going to show this real quick. I'm going to send it to you so you don't have to jump over. This is the Gonzo fist.
Gonzo, what?
It's called the Gonzo fist.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me show it on. I showed the
Oh,
wrong thing.
that's to say that goes with communism and socialism,
Well,
and
kinda.
with the exception of the thing in the center.
Yeah. Now the thing. Can you guess what the thing in the center is?
I'm presuming it might be a flower.
That is a peyote. The
Peyote?
cactus. Yes, that is a peyote. I cannot fucking talk, man.
Peyote. Okay, I got it.
It is a button that from the plant, and it is characterized by two thumbs. Now, see, the other, like the communist thing, don't have the two thumbs. It's the other kind of hand, and it's showing that it's holding the four fingers and the peyote button. It was originally used by Hunter S. Thompson as a 1970 campaign when he ran for fucking sheriff in Pickens County, Colorado. He wanted to bring drugs to Colorado. Eventually, it happened. This is you go after what you believe in. You go after what you this pure Gonzo. I mean, Gonzo. The word Gonzo, I think is what a person needs to focus on. And the meaning of Gonzo is bizarre, wild, or crazy. It's an intense style of reporting where the writer puts themselves directly into the story instead of staying neutral. You're not necessarily offering your opinion, but you're putting yourself there. You're in that story. Like when you're doing these live streams, you're talking to these people, you're talking these things. You're putting yourself in the story, but you're not offering speculation and stuff like that. I guess you would say. Well, you are after, but it's fine.
You know
to
what?
offer your
Actually,
thoughts
no. I
anyway.
put guardrails on myself not to speculate and to be very careful on what it is that I say, because I really want my brand to be built around integrity and and truth, and not I want to steer very clear. Now I know I'm probably gonna have to do some retractions. I made some mistakes. I went too far. I know I'm gonna have to do that from time to time, but I really want to avoid it as much as possible.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. I mean, but that is the bizarre and unconventional idea behind that. And I mean, do you consider yourself a wild person?
I'm kind of feral.
Okay, that goes into that.
I mean, did you not hear the shit I was saying? Just like it was instinctual. I wasn't even thinking. I'm like, I'm surprised I'm not going to get canceled. I used
I
the R
know, but
word.
it's basically wild behavior.
Yeah.
You don't look like the Muppet. When you say Gonzo, a lot of people, some people generate like gravitate toward the Muppet.
Well, no, I'm thinking of. I had a boss that was into Gonzo porn, and I guess it was like super tall women or some shit.
Well, Gonzo porn can be categorized as anything like I was talking about today, furry stuff, everything else, anything that's weird. Like if you can put yourself there, watching it, not being a part of it, but watching it, then that's Gonzo. That's Gonzo journalism. And you say, okay, I'm sitting in a room and there's a bunch of shit going on, and there's a bunch of furries banging each other. That's Gonzo. That is fucking Gonzo. If you have the
Dude, I
balls,
wish I could have been there for that shit.
if you have
I
the balls, if you have the balls to go to a party and sit there on the fucking couch while there's 40 fucking furries banging each other out, and you're reporting on it.
Do they know you're reporting on it?
Fuck yeah! They come around and talk to you. Fucking bring you drinks and shit. It's all fucking polite. It's all fucking polite.
What
I had
were
a
you
great
reporting
time.
for?
I had a
Like, were you
great
reporting for an
time.
adult magazine or something?
Huh?
Were you reporting for an adult magazine or something?
I was doing the Hustler what is it? The Hustler Bites, Hustler hold on a minute. Let me look. I'll go look it up. I'll tell you. Alcohol. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. Hustler.
So I keep hearing you say, I tell people who I am and what I've done and stuff like that, and
I tried
it
to.
seems to move mountains. But I don't know shit about you other than you're a dude who runs Paranoid Times who happens to have
And that's
taken
the
an
way it needs to
interest in me.
be. That's the way it
I'm
fucking
just
needs to
curious,
be.
like, because when you talk about it, in the same way you wonder about fucking Mormon shit, I wonder about, okay, like, how famous is this dude? I mean, I don't care. I'm not into. eh, I don't get fucking. What do you call it? Like, I've seen 50 Cent, didn't fucking bother me. RFK is the only one, but that's because of how high his status he is and who he is. Like, I followed the QAnon movement, and he was a big part of it. And not only that, just to watch his candidacy and to kind of, he was a great alternative to Ron Paul, um, when we didn't have any of the Pauls running. So yeah, like I don't idolize the man, but I have a lot of respect for him.
No, I wrote for LFP and Company. Um, they published the Hustler brand. It was under their Hustler whatever. Back when I was younger, they published.
How do you get articles? Because that's what I'm really looking for. I don't want to just blog about it. I want to be able to publish articles and make it in a newspaper, even if it's just a short article, just enough to like bring awareness to all this stuff. Because I
Things have changed. The way it works now is you meet somebody, you know, like me, or you meet somebody else or whatever, and hopefully, like fuck, they know somebody that works for a newspaper, that works for a magazine, or whatever, and one day when they're drinking or they're high on something, they have a wild tangent and they're talking to somebody else they know that is running an well, whatever, and they talk about you and they say, "Hey, I know this guy. He's great. He's doing these things. I'm impressed
Yeah,
by
but I'm
him."
not being discovered. I mean, I'm
You're
being
not going
discovered
to
by
be
the homeless
You're
industrial
not going to be
complex, apparently.
discovered. I mean, the thing that you're going to this Friday is great. I want you to go. I want you to go 100%. Might be great. Might get
But
your
it's
name
not
out
going to be
there.
lucrative.
It might be a way for people to actually ask me about you. And
Uh,
I know that don't make any sense to you because you're already there and you're the one doing this. But the thing
yeah,
is,
and how do they know I'm tied to you?
because you're going to tell them.
I'm just gonna say paranoid times.
You're gonna say paranoid times, or you're gonna say Denny Randall, and you're gonna say, you know, this dude, and he's done this stuff and everything else, and you're gonna say, look, he's been working on stuff. I've been playing along with him, doing whatever, and trying to find my place. And some of these people probably know me, and that's how you get it. And and one night they might be drunk or whatever, and they call me and they ask me about you. And that's where this starts. You know, I I know it sounds weird, but it's the way it happens sometimes. Like I'll get a call about somebody that I haven't spoke with in years, or haven't spoke to in years, and they'll ask me about somebody, and I'll be talking about them, and I'll have a drink with this individual or do whatever, and we'll go over it, and we'll talk about it, and like this is what I've done with them, and what work. I'll go look at my catalog and everything. If somebody asks me about you, I'm going to tell them the truth. I'm going to say, look, this is, we've been going on, we've been working on, and everything, and there is a good chance the way things run within this I don't want to say economy. I want to say, what's the word I'm looking for? It's
You talking about the job market? Well, no.
no, it's not a job market. It's like predator creatures, stuff like that. It's a but anyway, it's a way for you to get noticed. But like I said, I want you to go. I want you to talk to them. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to see what you can find out. And another thing you got to think about too. There's got to be a reason why that woman wants you to come along. Now that's where I want you to start with. That's the string that I want you to work on.
Oh, I already know why.
No. There's a reason why she's telling you, and there's a reason why there is. Never trust anybody's idea, and never trust your own idea. Ever.
No. This lady's like fucking like close to fucking 90 years old. She could barely fucking no. This ain't grandma trying to get fucking young. No. That ain't. There's no way. She adores Sam. She lost her dog. She adores Sam. That's her connection to me. I told her I'm an independent journalist. She tells me that she was an editor. She tells me to go down there to the club. I try and go down there. I think she's a little senile. But she's the nicest old lady I've ever met. Well, not old ever met, but she's a very nice old lady.
I mean, you might be talking to somebody who's won a fucking you know one of the awards or something.
I sent you her name before and asked you about her. Her name's Michael. She's like,
Yeah.
I'm the only female that's named as Michael.
I don't see. There's a lot of females named Michael.
No, she's the only one apparently. That's her. She makes sure to tell everybody, I'm the only female named Michael. And she's out of DC, and so she was an editor in chief for a long time. Because I asked her, because I was asking her, I was like, so you're a reporter? She's like, no, I was an editor. It's like, so how do I get, how do I get in front of an editor?
Oh, wait a minute here. Uh, yeah. Yeah, go with her. No, we don't want that. We don't want to pull that. And DC.
Yeah, she has a different spelling. I sent it to you in a message.
Oh, you may have.
Hold on, I've actually got the spelling. Because she's in my contacts. I have her direct number. Michael, yeah. Press Club, yeah. Did you find her?
I don't know, but the president of the press club there is Michael Friedman. He is a American mathematician at Microsoft Station Q, a research group in the University of California. He's got a whole list of awards. He's a smart dude.
No, no, this is a female.
No. This is the guy who runs.
Oh, the press club?
Yeah, he's the press club guy. He goes back to PhD in 1973, and he's working on quantum stuff. No, I was looking, trying to find her. No, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't throw her up on the thing here. I gotta run to the bathroom again. But anyway, I want you to go down there and do your thing and talk to her.
Okay. Well, I will. I mean, it's on the plans. I've got Sam's doctor's appointment, and yeah. So, yeah. If we may not be doing it this Friday, we may. She just said on a Friday. So I talked to her like this Friday, but we'll get it done. It may not be this week. But for those of you who don't know who I am Friar Tuck. I have a channel called the Epoch of Friar Tuck. My website is boxcarnews.com. Um, I have been writing. That's part of the reason why I came on is because I've been talking about this subject on my channel for some time because I talk about the homeless issue and kind of all the weird stuff that's happening around it. For the first time in I think over 50 years, the homeless industrial complex is getting an overhaul, and we're going from something that's like a policy that we've had for 20 years, saying it doesn't work. But I talked to a guy that knows the guy that started the whole housing first over in Finland, and essentially, like when I really got down to it,
Yeah, I don't trust them motherfuckers. I don't
no,
trust them
no, no, no,
motherfuckers.
no. His whole thing was is this was a dignified way to give him lasting peace because they're never going to amount to anything. So what they did is they put him in fucking SROs and swept the rest of them over in fucking industrial areas. They have homeless. They just manage it differently. It's no different. It's just out of sight, out of mind. And that's what the United States is doing. They're saying, yeah, we're going to follow the Finland method, but not the part you like.
Yeah.
And I
Now,
bet you Finland went through the same fucking thing that we're going through. They have housing first for some, and now they're stuck on it. And then the rest of them, they're just trying to sweep out of the way because Donald Trump wants to get them as far away from the city as
I think
possible.
Finland is just real good about clearing up stuff. There's enough that there's not as much people there.
Yeah, but they're over in industrial areas, is from what I've
Well,
been
I mean,
told, which means that the press doesn't go
you
there.
can kind of manipulate the whole thing, and you know, sort of. I don't know.
Mm, I'm just going off what I've been told by people who actually, people that have been there know what's going on
But
and
but
like
but, but
observe.
going back to Hustler, you was asking me for what magazine? And I know you've probably seen these magazines, but there's Hustler Taboo, Barely Legal, Asian Fever, Hustler Triple X. Now, in Hustler Triple X was their more generic hardcore offering, and in the back of it, you could see where there was like user write-ins, like people would write in. They were like Dear Hustler, or Dear Frank, Anne Frank, whatever. Um, and there was also one called Chicken Club. Um, but yeah, there's in the '90s you can see part of my guidance in there, but but it's in there. So it's uh, I got a list of um I figured I'd throw that out there since we were talking about it. I've never talked about it. I didn't think it mattered. I really didn't. It doesn't really. Um, other than you get to meet some of these people.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it'd be kind of funny to watch a furry, especially one with a butt plug that has a tail.
Oh, I mean, well, you don't know. Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just entertained. I'm like, I want to see if they can actually wag it, and like, how much into it are they going to actually get?
Well,
Like, I'm
you
curious
don't
to
know
see.
how you're supposed to report on it. You don't know how you're supposed to report on it. You don't know if you're supposed to be like, you know, an American journalist. American journalists look at it and like, oh, this is what's happening, and kind of respond to it like they're responding to fucking NASCAR. Are you supposed to report like you're a British guy? Like the British news, and you have a motherfucker sitting there on the couch, and that's basically the way it would go for me. Drinking something, and not a cup of tea, but you can imagine drinking a cup of tea, and sitting there reporting the actions of the people that are involved within the furry gangbang. And I'm just saying is you have to live with this shit.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Some of
I'm
it
like,
ain't, but I mean, it can mold you as a person.
I don't think I could go to like the mutilation like it for BDSM. There's
Oh,
some parts of it I couldn't do.
I've been to the BDSM places too. The
Yeah, they
BDS.
had one in San Francisco.
Oh
I
my
never went.
God Almighty! I might take another drink on that one. The BDSM places. There was one thing. There was a. I received an invite. There was a limo that come around to my house, and this man, he was in a suit, tie, and everything. I was on my porch. I had shorts on, fucking compression socks and everything else on. I look like a fucking idiot. I was on my porch, smoking a cigarette. Didn't plan anything for the day. And he comes around, this dude in limo. He wasn't the one driving it. He was one of the passengers. He gets out, comes over, walks, and hands me an envelope. And I knew that was a sign that I had to go do a job. And I mean, back then I didn't look at it in the sense of like, okay, well, this is how I make my money. I got to pay for this. I got to do this. So that, I couldn't say, okay, well, fuck you, leave me alone. A lot of times I want to say that. Right now, I'd say that. Probably not. But I mean, if they pulled around right now and handed me an envelope, told me to go here, I would probably go there because I know there'd be a payout. It'd be very helpful in my situation. But in that case, it was very helpful in my situation. They wanted me to go, huh?
After this is over, I'm going to bed. I've been up for 20 hours.
Okay, honey. And so we go to this. I would go to the address that was listed on there, or there would be a name, and then there'd be an address. And I went to this bondage thing. And I think the name of the party was called The Room. And it was a series of rooms within a house. It started at the bottom. It was a 3-story house. And you can imagine there's rooms on each level of the house, and I'd say there's good 3, 4, whatever. Each room would, as you go through them, it, it was almost like what I was telling you about. Pick your own adventure. Um, each room would be a more deprived version of the person. Well, I made it to the end, of course. And I had to see what was up there. But I saw everything. I saw acts of evil that I cannot, and I've seen them. I've seen them happen before. And I've seen them in everyday type things that people go through. And this probably better be the last drink I have tonight. I won't black out. I think it might be my blackout level. Yep, that's my last drink. But you will be amazed what people will put themselves through for pleasure. Have you ever watched Hellraiser?
I know of it. I don't like scary movies.
Well, I don't really consider Hellraiser a scary movie. The
The picture
general
was scary.
the general aspect of it is scary. But the whole thing is you have a cube. You play with the cube. The reason you play with the cube is you want to experience pleasures that you can't experience on Earth. You have gone to that point, and that's what the point I'm trying to talk about. You go through the line. You've gone through everything you could possibly go through. You imagine it. All the horrible shit, everything else, bondage, furries, fucking every form of sexuality you can possibly imagine. And then you get to a point where you are looking for pleasure you can't find experience for. You can't get it up. You can't do the things you want to do. So you pick up the cube and you start playing with it. And they bring you stuff that you have never experienced before in your life. That is what each of us is chasing, and we don't realize it.
We're just seeking success. I could see that, but that boils down to indulgence.
Well, you start off young, you grow adult, you strive for one thing, and that is what you strive for. And it is a form of addiction, be it drugs or be it sex or be it fucking alcohol or be it fucking work or be it um, you know
You know, a movie that really affected me, and I kind of lived my life by it because of it. I think it was a Morgan Freeman movie. It was a Seven.
yeah.
Yeah, all of those, every last one of them, I'm just because in the back of my mind, I remember that the big old fat guy that was pretending to be some hot girl, and he was fucking like covered in syrup and all this other shit. It was disgusting, and it was something else. Seeing that scene alone was enough to like make me think about who I am as a human being.
I just refreshed my Facebook page here. And what comes up, I'm part of this group called Not Your Mother's Morgue. And they talk about a lot of crazy shit. And it's showing a woman having birth on a riding motorcycle. Who in the fuck would want to have birth on a motorcycle? Purposely.
A girl
No,
who's
there's
married to
people
a Hell's
there.
Angel.
There's people there. This is an experience that they are driving after. People that are driving after experiences they don't realize they're driving after, and they're chasing them down. They're hunting them down.
They're chasing fame,
There's,
but
it's
again,
not
that's
just fame.
that falls into vanity.
Yes, it is part of it.
Okay, and so
Vanity is an addiction, man. It is a
but the
hardcore
seven
addiction.
deadly sins are the seven deadly sins are probably the most only like I would believe that I would live by the seven deadly sins before I would live by the Ten Commandments.
Well, you know that the seven deadly sins were not in the Bible originally, right?
No, I don't know it. I just know the movie, and I know that it has religious context. That's it.
Well,
And I know it comes
it
from the
does.
Catholics.
But it's common sense. It's a form of early, if you want to really say it, it's a form of early Gonzo journalism. You have a priest that puts himself in a situation, and he looks at his practitioners. He looks at people around him. He says, "Okay, look, if you were to read the Bible, you wouldn't be doing these things. So these are the seven deadly sins. These are the things that the Bible harps on." So he puts those in there. The seven deadly sins comes from a monk. He says these are the things that you shouldn't do. If you read the Bible, it's not in there. Unless it's a more modern day Bible and they actually put it in there in the middle somewhere, the seven deadly sins. But you can't find a scripture for it. You can find casual references to it, but you won't find don't cheat on your neighbor and shit like that. But it's like I said, it's not in the Bible. But it was made by the monkey, and it's good common sense things. These are things that you should do. You shouldn't be gluttonous. You shouldn't be greedy. You shouldn't murder people. You shouldn't. I'm sure the whole thing about being adulterous. Looking at somebody's wife and saying, "Oh, I want you."
That's coveting.
Covenant, yeah, but I'm sure that was written in because somebody didn't want somebody looking at
But
somebody's wife
coveting
because
is
they
a
were
commandment,
jealous.
actually. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife.
But it's technically not in the Bible.
The Ten Commandments. That's the second. I think that's the second or third.
See, you're thinking about the seven deadly sins.
Yes, the seven deadly sins, but the Ten
But
Commandments.
the seven deadly sins are not in the Bible.
Yes,
Okay.
but coveting is one of the seven deadly
The
sins.
deadly the Ten Commandments, and I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure the Ten Commandments
Coveting
in the
is one of the
Bible.
commandments.
The Ten Commandments are and this is what the seven deadly sins are based off of, by the way, about one of them, partially. Okay, the Ten Commandments, the core rules, the God and Israelites of the Bible. I am working on a third temple thing, and oh God, that's crazy too. Especially with the stuff that's going on, they apparently found the temple, and this should have the Mormon Church in fucking in outrage, and other churches in outrage actually, but they seem to be going along with it. But they have found the temple vestments and the temple vessels. They found the things that they needed for the third temple. There was rules for the third temple. They found the things they needed for the third temple. They got the bull.
Max talked about it a little bit, yeah.
But anyway, the Ten Commandments from Exodus 20 to 117 and Deuteronomy 5, 6 to 21. It was they tried to focus the love of God for the love of people. The rules for God or no other gods. Worship only the true God. If you knew the true God. No idols. Don't make statues or images of other gods. Do not misuse God's name. Use God's name with respect. This would be the only time that I could actually technically, hypothetically say GD in a sentence and say don't use it. However, this is what it refers to. Keep the Sabbath holy. Rest on the honor of God and the holy day. Now, there is some argument if Saturday is the Sabbath or Sunday is the Sabbath. And I guess it's depending on which way you're
Sunday is actually the first day of the week.
Yeah.
That's
Or
why they call
Monday.
it the weekend. It's the last day and the first day of the week.
Now, the rules for people, those were the rules for God. They don't confuse those with the rules for you because you are not God. Even though you were created in God's image. Never mind. Anyway. The rules for people. Honor parents. Respect your father and mother. Now keep in mind, if you do not follow these in order, the other ones will not matter because you have broken the ones in your holy vestment with God. If you do not honor your father and mother, and the next one is do not take a life or do not murder, you're not getting to the next one. There's no reason to even go to the next one. You might as well go ahead and skip that in the Bible when you're in prison or whatever. Because you're not getting to it. It's just it's a thing. You are who you are. You're whatever version you should be. The next one is after murder, the do not commit adultery, like you were talking about. Be faithful in marriage. Now
Do
I'm
not
sure.
covet thy neighbor's wife.
Now I am almost 100% somebody added this one. Come on, someone stuck it in there. They're like, okay, well, I don't want so and so going after my wife because I'm, a conspiracy theorist and I'm up here on a mountain talking about, the stuff that an invisible God says.
Well, a prime bride was, or a woman.
That's what I'm saying. Is,
A woman was also in danger. Look at what Abraham had to pretend that he was married to his sister,
well, I know,
and then
most
eventually it
wars,
fucking inbred with her.
most wars are fought over women.
I see
I
the
can
fight over
understand that.
religion.
And I can understand it. Now, the next one is do not steal.
Uh-huh.
That's a good thing. Don't steal from people. If you steal from people, you're going to get shot. Do not lie. There's no reason for you to lie. There is absolutely no reason for you to lie other than you worried about the repercussions from others. Now I can understand there's when we go with like the thing of addictions and porn and stuff like that. If someone asks you straight out, do you like this kind of porn? And I can understand you saying, no, I don't like this kind of porn, so you lie.
But there's also the noble lie. Like, if it wasn't for a
That's not
noble
a
lie that
noble
was told
lie
to
when you do it
me.
over and over again. I mean,
Well,
like I
no.
said, when you have to defend the thing that gets you off, that's not a noble lie. I'm sorry, that's not a noble lie.
No, I'm not talking about that. So, like in 2003, I was told if I ever harmed somebody, even in self-defense, that I'd be spending the rest of my life doing the Thorazine shuffle because of my adrenaline spikes. Back then, they were calling them panic attacks. Um, but the thing is, that was a noble lie. I have the right of self-defense. No state can take that from me. Even the county sheriffs recognize that. However, but the thing was, is by them telling me that is what made me pacify myself and stop being so aggressive. It was a noble lie. That was a lie that was important that I got lied to because it was the only way I was going to change.
Now the next one is do not steal. Do not take
You already
what
did that one.
Oh, okay, maybe I did. Well, I mean, that can go on with YouTube. You have people all today. I mean, I was sitting in my other bedroom in there, and that's where my old lady stays, and that's where my son stays for the most part. And I was sitting in there, and I was listening to what they was watching on TV, and they were talking about, music bands and stuff they were listening to, and they were talking about people stealing music, and wanting to be addressed as bands and things like that, and the award ceremony will not address them because they don't seem like they are what they should be. And for the ones that are curious about this, I'm calling it that this is K-pop. Right now, K-pop is not considered a band by any sense because they basically do the same thing that other bands have done over and over again, and it's kind of like repeating it. But I'm not informed enough to go into detail about that. However, I do see it, and I'm not sure what I'm talking about. But anyway, don't steal.
I'm not either.
Don't steal other people's work. I think that's where I was going with this.
Yeah.
Don't steal other people's work. Make your own work. Do your own thing. Show people what you have. Do not steal. Do not lie. Do not give false testimony against neighbors. Like your friends, your family, people that live beside you, don't give false testimony against them. Give false testimony against anybody else, but don't give false testimony against your friends, your neighbors, and your family. You know.
No, wait a minute. That's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, that sounds like something that you'd hear from the Quran.
Well, no, no, no. I'm actually I'm old Catholic, and I'm Baptist.
Well,
And
in the Quran, apparently, it's if it's an infidel, it's okay to lie to them. Well,
well, no, no, I'm
cross
not
your
talking about
fingers.
infidels. I'm talking about everybody in general. I mean,
Uh,
do not do that. I mean, but yeah, don't.
uh, I don't know. It's Easter.
And don't covet. Don't covet. It says don't do jealousy desires to who belongs to others. I was like
Hey, that's what I said was in there.
but that also is the adultery thing. Be faithful marriage. But see
Yes,
the thing with
but
covet
to covet means to want something that does not belong to you.
right, and I think when it comes to covet, you should probably tell
That
another
falls right
person.
in line with stealing.
But I think
Because to
I think
steal,
a
you must
person that
first covet.
covets, I think a person that covets should tell the person that they covet. Like if
I
you
have.
if you see somebody that has their, you're like, hey man, I like your old lady, and da 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 da. I think it's best for you to approach it in that situation. Um,
Well, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place because it's not yours.
well, I know, but if you cannot help it, that's what I'm trying to say. If
You
you
can
cannot help
help
it,
it.
oh no, these motherfuckers
Yes, you
can't help it.
can.
All of
Oh,
these,
dude, I've had
no
women that
other
I'm
gods.
attracted
No,
to.
no, no. Now you need to rephrase all of this into the back end. You rephrase these as addictions. Okay, people who go to church and stuff like that, no other gods. This is an addiction. This is a
And
bona fide addiction. These are these.
but an addiction is a
This is
conscious
something that will
ailment.
alter their serotonin. No idols. This is another thing that alters the serotonin that has to do with additions. Do not misuse God's names. This is another thing that aggravates the amount of serotonin a person's brain gets. Keep the Sabbath holy. Doing shit on Sunday or Saturday. If you don't do these things, then you don't have that serotonin pop. And then you get to the rules for people. Honor parents. Do not murder. Commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not lie. Do not covet. All of these are adrenaline and endorphin and serotonin modifiers. You are an addictive species. The same way with me and everybody else and anything else that comes here to this planet to live. This is what we are.
We were genetically modified this way, so that maybe is the lesson to get us to consciously modify ourselves to realign ourselves with the true human beings.
The
Because we're not. We're
people
an abomination.
the people that want to rule and dominate you and control you gave you the rules a long time ago. This is the rule. This is like, look, you're gonna have the best outcome if you follow these rules. We don't want you to follow these rules because it's not fucking entertaining for us. But this is
No, we can't profit off it and
we can't
maintain
no we can't
power.
profit. We want you to follow. But these are the rules. We got to give you the rules. This is it. I'm fully behind that. I am fully behind that, and I am 110% glad I am not at a Baptist podium with a group of individuals tonight, and I am drunk off my ass. That would be horrible.
Yeah.
That would be horrible.
Do you know like what Friar Tuck's persona was?
Well, I mean, he was a by definition he was a priest or well there was a couple of different little ideas, but for the most
They're
part,
they're considered monks,
well, a
but he was
monk,
part of the
but
Brotherhood of
monk,
Saint
all
Francis
right,
of
monk or
Assisi.
priest, and he was a alky. I mean, that was his
Uh
whole
huh.
thing, and he was like, fuck, they won't let me make alcohol. I'll go out here and make alcohol, and he goes out here and he makes alcohol, and he's in the middle of all this, and he's talking about it, And that's kind of the way Fire Truck was made. Yeah,
He did his
and
own thing and said, "Fuck you. I'm not.
and
I'm
and and,
not."
and, and he gained a license. That's what you do. You gain a
You know,
license.
now do you know why people call me Friar Tuck?
Well, I mean, I don't. I'm not saying you gain a license. I'm not saying you gain a license. Of what I talk about. Yeah, I hope you gain a license. Of what you talk about.
Well,
I'm not.
oh yeah, dude, I've got people all over the place that if I ever really needed to, I could call on them. I just don't because I don't want to. Like in the same way that I resonate with you, I resonate with other people along the way, and I am. I, I don't know if you call it like a divergent. I'm very adaptive. I'm very chameleon like in the sense that I can figure out ways to be able to meet and create meaningful relationships with all different kinds of individuals, just because of my travels and how it's forced me to adapt and stuff like that. But like, I forgot where I was going with that. um yeah. I wish I could blame that one on the weed, but I don't know. I just I I don't know. I just
I mean, our view stream, our view duration, and view stream, and everything looks worse than the stock market. I mean, it's all over the place. I mean, it is that that's wild.
honestly, this is, I think, a format that I don't know. I like this format. Like, I'd like to be able, like, if you decide you want to, like, because I know you have this channel set up a certain way, but if you ever do decide you want to do a podcast like this, where it's just kind of like sit back, smoke a bowl, have a couple of drinks, and or get stoned and fucking just have wild
Well, yeah, I mean,
conversations.
I do want to do a thing where I just do a lot of drugs. I mean, I used to do a lot of drugs and go on and do things and I try to act sober, but I'd rather not act sober because there's a lot of people that are not sober now. I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. There's a lot of people that smoke dope right now. So if I go and smoke a bowl, if I go and smoke a bowl and I come back and say 420, whatever, everybody's cool with it, and nobody's acting like, they got a stick up their ass.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know,
I have my audience is a coke and a toke. I think you're yeah. Today there was some people like, hey, yeah, I get a coke and a toke. I'm like, I got my coke, just no toke yet.
and they'll ask me about stuff I'm drinking tonight. And Bardo, you asked me, I am drinking Wild Turkey 101. Um, it is one of my favorite drinks. However, if I crack a bottle and I drink from the top down to the beak of the, this is about where I can go. If I go from here down to the beak by myself, on, I mean, I've been drunk many times and stared at this fucking bottle. But if I get down to the beak, that's when I black out, and that's when bad shit happens.
Okay,
And
well,
I do not want to black out and be online. I do
okay,
not
well,
want to black out. I'm a long way from that, but I don't want
it's
to black out and be online. Um,
okay. Well, it's about 11 o'clock, and I need to get up early in the morning anyway. So I think it'd be good to call it a night.
let's call it a night. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Be good, have fun, and God bless. Stay friendly, my friends. Tuck, see you tomorrow. Um, be careful.
We'll do. Bye.